22 of the Xbox All the Games podcast. I'm Matt, and this week I'm joined by Keo.
Welcome, everybody.
And Jake.
Howdy, howdy.
This week we're talking a little bit about Xbox. What a surprise. We're also talking a bit about physical games and some stuff around ad streaming. But first, as always, we do the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Come say hi, hang out in the chat, usual business. If you are a audio or a video VOD watcher, try and get us live. It's always we always try to the show does move around a fair bit, I will say. But yeah, jump in when you can. We always appreciate the support. And thank you, Moonzon, for subscribing. Always appreciate that. All right, how you guys been? Keo, what have you been up to?
Not a whole lot, actually. Just trying to lay low a little bit and deal with a few things, like the car not working and stuff like that. So,
I love that.
Yeah. Transmission issues. I've got to deal with that after this, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah. Good to chill out a little bit finally. So
yeah, best of luck to you. Jake, what about you? It's been a couple of weeks since you've been on.
Yeah, in the last couple of weeks, I got hooked on a highly addictive substance. That substance is called Magic the Gathering.
Mm-hmm. Yep, inject it straight into my veins every Friday.
Yeah. Cardboard crack. Do you play, Matt?
I used to, yeah. I used to. I don't play as much. I don't really have a local community here, but when I used to live in the US, yeah absolutely, I do Friday Night Magic or what? Yeah, every Friday we go down to the game store and play Friday, and I was fucking terrible at it. But it was good fun.
I haven't hit up any LGSs yet. I'm working up the courage to do that because I don't know if I'd have friends who'd go with me. But I've been playing Commander on Tabletop Sim using some of the add-ons. So
hell yeah.
That's been super fun. And I just played a game tonight during a event, a gathering.
As you might say.
There might have been magic. But otherwise, just feeling like old man yells at cloud about Sony killing physical media. Other than that, not a whole ton.
Mm-hmm. No, but on the bright side of that, now you have a definitive amount of games to collect.
This is true.
I'm sure my girlfriend is thrilled. I'm sure my girlfriend is thrilled.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, there's only several hundred games as opposed to the potential several hundred more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, though. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But I guess we do actually have a community question this week. Came in last minute from Red Ninja Dan, who said, as we're about to be entering the 5th gen of Xbox in a few years, we'll see about that. What do you guys think was the best and worst generation taking into account systems and games? I'm assuming, let's maybe expand this out to just generations in general. Is there a best and worst generation in your guys' opinion?
Yeah, I actually do have opinions on this. God, this generation it's going for gold. I'll tell you what, it's going for gold, but it's not. I don't think it's gone gold yet.
Sure.
I think the worst generation, and this is as somebody who is constantly bouncing around from not only 360, Xbox One, Series X, but everywhere from the NES to the Series X. Like, I'm playing everything constantly all over the place. I think for me it is the 360 PS3 generation, and I know that's going to ruffle some feathers and that's going to hurt some feelings.
Wow.
But I think the 360 and PS3 generation, it's just the generation when I go back to, it's the games are just the most bleh. Like,
okay, yeah, I can see that.
It feels like the games none of the games, it's the games that I feel like have not aged gracefully at all. Like, I feel like a lot of PS2 games and beyond, it feels like, okay, this is kind of clunky and it didn't age super good, but it feels like I give it a little bit more of a pass. But like that Xbox 360 era was so on the cusp of games feeling tight and refined, but not quite there. So it's just like, I'm just like, ooh, I want this to be 60 frames. I want this to be a little tighter controlling.
Sure.
And it's just not, and I can't, it's so much harder to excuse for me. So yeah, that's my take. It's the 360 PS3 and there are other reasons too, like that's where the kind of stains on that generation are. the tacked on multiplayers of the world. That's when they tried to sell us online passes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was, the start of I think DLC being the norm and expected thing, which
Horse armor.
Yeah, horse armor. Yeah, so that's my take. I think that is like presently the biggest shit stain on gaming, but PS5, Xbox Series X generation is is trying to take gold from that generation for sure. It is currently solidly in silver place, or
Yeah,
in second place for me.
for the worst.
For the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. just because like the game, it's so hard because I feel like we're in such a gaming renaissance with like how accessible it is to make games and how many amazing, like there are amazing tight games coming out, but I just feel like a lot of the industry things and the behind the scenes things that are happening during this generation are just like some of the dog shittiest things that like we've seen in a long while.
Yeah, I can understand that. And then, okay, in terms of your best though, to pick a generation.
Oh, dude, PS2, Xbox,
Yeah,
and GameCube.
yeah, that's
Easily.
Yeah, I think it's
Slam dunk.
Yeah, I would probably agree, to be honest.
Slam dunk.
It's Kia, what about you?
Yeah, I'm sitting in the current gen being the worst gen, if you could call it that. So, really,
I get it.
like, I mean, there are so many more games on the Xbox One era, and it lasted so much longer that it kind of has like a middle ground where it is not good or bad. It just kind of was developing the whole time. So, but there's been so many like issues with the current gen stuff. If it like it's still progressing through some of the mistakes that came up from the Xbox One gen, right?
And it's not done yet, right? But
no, no. So, in terms of best, I'm right there with the PS2 stuff, especially when that was kind of like PS2 for me. It was PS2. I was playing my PS2 when I got an Xbox 360, but I also had that crossover into PC. So it was like a trifecta of PS2, early 360 Guitar Hero, and then like Chronicles of Riddick and Doom 3 and shit like that I was playing at the time on PC.
yeah.
So that's where I stand for the best, I think.
I'm trying to think. It's a tough one, right? Like, as I've said a few times, like I got into gaming relatively late in terms of like my first console was a PlayStation 1. So I definitely missed the sort of earlier stuff, the sort of, like any of the SNES stuff or I mean, even like, and then like I was, like I got a PlayStation 1 towards the end of its life cycle. So like I wasn't even quite in the Dreamcast level either. So I mean, so I think best generation for my money is probably PlayStation 2 in terms of the games, in terms of where the industry was, in terms of creativity, in terms of how often we got stuff. I mean, obviously there were still issues with that, and obviously the GameCube itself was unfortunately like a really huge failure for Nintendo. But they had some great titles on there, just not as many as you would like. And then the Xbox coming in and becoming that first thing, and kind of having an interesting start and like some really good ideas, but not quite capitalizing or not. I mean, again, like the PlayStation 2 was an absolute juggernaut. Like it was just something that just kind of took over everything in terms of like it was the console to beat. Probably is still the console to beat, to be honest. So like even if the PlayStation 2 was just like the one console that came out that generation, I still probably would still pick it. Even putting aside the and then again, I mean, like the GameCube also had great stuff. Like Metroid Prime is one of my favorite games ever. You had like Pikmin stuff in there as well. Super Mario Sunshine, which I know is a bit more controversial, and Wind Waker. And then the Xbox, you got, I mean, obviously Halo 2. I think that it is probably that. The worst I mean, this is probably the worst generation. I would tend to agree. I think that I definitely see your point, Jake, in terms of the 360 generation is obviously hugely important to me because that's where I started really getting. That's the reason we do this podcast, right? Is because like I got my first achievement in 2007, and kind of it was off to the races from there. And it was the first time I'd experienced like online connectivity and achievement hunting and profile stuff and like kind of like gaming as like as a as like a serious hobby as opposed to just something that I enjoyed doing. But it it is a real mix of good and bad in there because the PS3 was kind of not great, had a lot of problems. The Wii is kind of not the direction that I wanted gaming to go in, so wasn't super interested in it, even though it had a couple of good ideas. And then you're right, like it was essentially the sort of test bed for a lot of the problems that the industry has kind of run into today. Whether that was kind of getting things up to HD development and kind of everything having to be super fidelity focused, timelines on games taking longer and longer to make, the tactile multiplayer stuff, a lot of the sort of industry stuff around that market. And I guess this was the Western games industry, kind of getting more involved in the console space, considering that it was originally just a sort of Sega, Sony, and Nintendo kind of thing going on for a while. I do love it though. Like, I definitely have like a thing for it, but yeah.
I love so many games from that generation. Like, it just to your point, the westernification of just the entire market. Like, I look at like what Capcom was doing around that time. They were marketing to Western audiences so hard, and that era of Capcom is easily the worst Capcom era.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like, they were bangers after bangers from Mega Man on the NES all the way up through the PS2, and then they're like, what if we appealed to Call of Duty players?
Well, I guess that's the bit too, right? It was so indicative of a time and a trend of like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 1, Call of Duty 4 came out and was like a huge thing, and then everything was gunmetal gray, dogshit brown, filtered, like modern military shit. Like, I've played so many terrible first-person shooters on the 360 that were mostly easy achievement things, and then we had to do some ridiculous multiplayer grind. I mean, definitely there's some gems in there for sure, but yeah, I think the vast majority of it felt like a lot of cash-in stuff, which, maybe
the only reason I can't give it to the modern gen, maybe retrospectively we'll look back, because I know when we were in the 360 gen, it really felt, it was like, man, it can't get any better than this. This is gaming. Games is here. And now retrospectively, I'm like, wow, that gen kind of blew ass. And maybe that'll change for the current gen. But the only reason I can't give it to the current gen right now, like, there's a lot of shit that happening. It's one of the most underwhelming gens I've experienced. Like, it felt like the least upgrade. But dude, the games we're getting are just so good. Like, we are just getting insane games this generation. Like, maybe not from the AAAs, but like, just I truly, and I keep saying this, I truly think the last 6 years has been an absolute renaissance in the gaming space.
Yeah.
But it's still close. It's close.
Yeah. You don't get any games where you can be sitting in front of your console and continuously just press the reset button, watch the opening cutscene, press the reset button, watch the opening cutscene. Like Resident Evil, like the 2. Well, I mean, actually, that was PS1. Like Resident Evil 2, that was really good for that. But like Final Fantasy X and like Kingdom Hearts.
But that's the thing, yeah, that's exactly like Final Fantasy X is my favorite game of all time. So like the PlayStation 3 is just it's
the PS2, GameCube, Xbox. I continuously go back to those games, like boot up a game I used to play or boot up a game from that era I've never played, and I'm never sitting down to play the game. I'm sitting down to test like some emulation texture pack thing I'm just like goofing off on, and then I find myself entirely unable to put it down. I just end up spending the entire night playing through a PS2 game, and I have the time of my life, and I'm just like, no, I feel like so few other eras of gaming are able to do that for me. I'm like hooked. I don't want to put the controller down anytime I play a game from that era.
Yeah,
perfect. Chef's kiss.
And I like that we're getting to the era now where a lot of that stuff is getting remastered or remade and kind of brought to current consoles to be able to play them. Miyamoto said something about this the other day about it's anything that's like more than 10 years old, most people are never going to see it because they just won't have the hardware to play it.
Does that make me unk? Maybe. But
I mean, sure.
if that's what makes me unk, that's what makes me unk. I don't care.
I mean, what, the PlayStation came out 26 years ago or something, 25 years ago, something like that. It's
2001,
2001, yeah,
2000.
2000, 2001, somewhere around there.
Years of Tomb
I think
Raider,
November
so-
2000. I think it was November.
I definitely didn't get it
Yeah.
straight away because that thing was fucking expensive back then. But I think I got one the following Christmas. Moonzom says that, you know what the GameCube era doesn't have? The DK wrap. Yeah, agreed. You know, that's that there's definitely some stuff there.
But to Shane's point, it does have Donkey Konga, which I don't know if it had the DK wrap on it. It might have.
I don't think it. Well, it might have actually.
It did have Donkey Konga though.
Yeah. Did it have a Samba de Amigo as well with the maracas? That was GameCube, right? Was that Wii? I can't even remember.
Wii.
That was Wii.
It was the maracas.
That's right, the maracas. Yeah. I have so many problems with modern gaming, but I to your point, Jake, I think there are so many good games, and we definitely get more good games now as a percentage in terms of like when the games come out, they're almost always good, or at least like decent. Whereas like it was a bit more of a mixed bag when it was PS2 generation, but it also takes so long for those games to get made. The industry is in a much worse place because of it. We're riddled with microtransactions and live service and other bullshit.
Yeah.
And I just,
it really is tough. I feel like my answer could change on any given day. It's really that picking between this and the 360 area is tough. For sure.
I think it's really funny that none of us said anything about the Xbox One PS4 era, because the PS4 was huge for Sony, right? Because obviously the PS3 was a bit of a shaky one, and PS4 is like the de facto console that generation. But us being Xbox gamers, like the Xbox One was kind of a non-starter.
If you're gonna ask me holistically about a generation, the Xbox One, they flubbed really hard. They dropped they dropped the ball really bad. And I spent most of that generation playing Xbox One. I had a PS4 a couple years into the generation, but I barely played it. I did spend most of that generation playing the Xbox One. But if you're gonna ask me to look at it holistically, just the PS4, if we're in a renaissance now, the PS4 I think played a huge part in enabling that
for sure.
The PS4 killed it. And so if you're gonna say what is the best or worst generation, I can't put the Xbox One PS4 generation and Switch, I guess, if you're gonna count it. Like, I don't know if you'd say that's the Wii U or the Switch generation.
Yeah, it's kind of in between. Yeah,
kind of both. But if you're gonna put the PS4 in that generation, I can't say it's even close to the worst because the PS4 just nailed it.
But because the Xbox One's in there, can't be the best. Unfortunately, that's the
yeah. And that's why I'm so frustrated. Not only I'm frustrated at the PS5, and I'm frustrated at Sony for recent things because of just how much they killed it in the PS4 era.
Yeah. Colin says, I didn't buy my Xbox One until 2015. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I didn't get mine until, well, I got a day one because I got the achievement. There was a whole thing around that.
I did too.
But in terms of because I was living with someone at the time. But like the actual, like when I bought one for myself, it was, I didn't get it till the Halo. I think the Halo pack with Halo 5, I think was the like branded console, and even then that took a long. I didn't get it till that was on sale. I just was not super excited about that generation, and like I still am not. But I get, to your point around like the renaissance that kind of that we're in now is very much down to the PS4 generation, because this generation has very much felt like a soft generation in terms of like not much has changed. You know that they're just kind of slightly more powerful consoles. There's a couple of new features, but we haven't had big graphical changes. We've had power changes, obviously, but the thing is that the games have also increased in fidelity to a level where you don't really notice it that much. You know, we're not talking about 120 FPS on these games most of the time. We're usually still talking about 60.
Yeah, I didn't start until about 20. Properly, I think, into the one. I had them on day one, but I think I was playing my 360. The last two big games that I were playing up to 2016 were Final Fantasy 11, and Grand Theft Auto 5, the 360 version, before I truly moved over to the one in 2016. So right from having a day one in 2013 or whatever it is, right through, so it's a good few years before I settled on the Xbox One. So
what is interesting about that, if we're talking a little bit about when we kind of the transition period from 360 to Xbox One, and then to your point about the PS5 and Series X being such a soft generation, I was pretty on Xbox One. I got an Xbox One day one. It was the first console I ever got day one, and that's why I got it. I was so hyped about it. And I was getting a lot of the releases, so I played a good bit of it, but there wasn't a ton. So like, yeah, I kind of had to go back to the 360. Backwards compatible wasn't a thing yet, but I was still playing Xbox One games pretty regularly and buying Xbox One games pretty regularly. The first game I played on my Series X when I got it day one was Dragon Age Inquisition.
Right.
And then I don't think I played a Series X game until I'd had the thing for like at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Already.
I'm thinking about like what because it was like the Medium was one of the first Series X exclusive games. I think it was, right? I think.
oh yeah.
I think the first Series X game I played was Destiny 2, if I can recall correctly.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy to think about.
Which wasn't even a Series X game. It just was like they're like, this is a Series X version, and it looked prettier and it was better and everything. But
yeah,
I don't think I played a game with the little SX logo on it saying this is a Series X game for a couple years into owning my Series X. So like to your point about it being such a soft generation transition, like if anything speaks to it, there it is.
yeah, exactly. And I was on the same page. Like I won my Series X through the Gamerscore competition, and it's funny actually. I also won a competition for my Xbox One, and I didn't get it, which I've told the story on the podcast before. But yeah, so I definitely was planning on having a day one Xbox One, but yeah, it definitely. Thinking back on like all the stuff I'm playing now, is a lot of it is still just stuff that would run on an Xbox One, and we've talked a lot around like if you didn't have a Series X, when would you want to jump onto it? When's the tipping point? And normally that tipping point is because you don't have backwards compatibility, so you're like, well, I'm missing out on stuff. But because things are so expensive to make, and they didn't want to lose their old audiences, they made sure. And Xbox has been very good about this, but it has also kind of shot them in the foot a little bit to go, well. I mean, shit, even like PlayStation 5 came out, they were like, oh, we believe in generations, so we're going to make PlayStation 5 its own thing. And, they said, like, yeah, we'll do backwards compatibility, but we're going to do a cutoff. And it's like, yeah, it turns out that cutoff was like this year. Like, this is the first time Call of Duty isn't going to be on last-gen consoles. That's fucking insane. Like, we're 6 years into the generation, and they're like, the last-gen stuff? Yeah, no, I can't do that anymore.
To be fair, the last PS3 game was like 2016.
Fair. Yes. Agreed.
And the last PS2 game was like 2010.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
obviously there is that, right? There is that. But I mean, I just... well, PlayStation 2 I kind of get, because that install base is so huge, and the jump was so... And obviously backwards compatibility wasn't a thing. Yeah, it is crazy to me that like the joke we used to hear was PlayStation said that we believe in generations, but it turned out that generation was the PlayStation 4 generation, and they were going to support it for as long as humanly possible. I'm sure FC and all that sort of stuff and those usual stuff will still, Just Dance or whatever, will come out on the old consoles forever. But well, actually, until
when they're transitioning, because they put legacy on the back end of the title, and it's like, oh, we haven't updated the game, but we've changed the roster for 2020 whatever.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, hopefully that answers your question there, Dan. It's a real interesting one. The generational shift is always a weird time for gaming, and I think it'll be even weirder with this new generation coming up, because like, what does Project Helix even look like being a hybrid? What does even a PlayStation 6 do that's different from a PlayStation 5 these days? Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Is this upcoming one? Is this the last generation?
It might be, right? Like this, given well, it depends on how component prices and hardware go for the next 10 years, I guess. But
yeah, well, Xbox we're still living on the Xbox One architecture, basically. Like everything runs the same, right?
Pretty
So
much.
Xbox One might have still been the last generation.
Yeah.
So
Well,
now everything's
and
PC. So
I've been kind of making that argument for years. I think before the Xbox Series X even came out, I was kind of saying I think, and I think they would have done it this gen if component prices didn't go fucking bonkers, didn't go bananas. I've been saying for forever that I'm like, they're gonna start doing what phones do. They're going to release the Xbox 27 Ultra, and then next year in 2028 they're going to release the Xbox 28 Ultra, and they're just going to do incremental hardware upgrades. If people want to do them, they can. If they don't, it's stuff still is compatible for like 7-8 years on their old stuff, and it's fine. And eventually stuff will stop working, and you kind of got to upgrade. But I know, like, I think people have gotten more off of this as the economic times have gotten shakier and prices of things have gone insane. But I mean, people were used to spending. It was pretty normal to spend $1,000 every 2 years on a phone.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I was like, I think Xbox or game, like the big game companies are gonna, like, if they're gonna say, why can't people be comfortable spending $2,000 every 2 years on a console? And some people would, and some people wouldn't.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so that's something I always thought was going to happen. It might be something. I still think that's something we could see as these consoles get more and more ambiguous on if they're consoles or computers. And I think I agree with Shane. I think I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with this next gen being the last generation, and then you upgrade when you want to upgrade, and every 2 years there's a new option for you to, or every year there's a new option for you to do if you want, or if you're still happy with what you had, you stay with that, and maybe you give it 4 years and then you upgrade.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
they just need to build everything into shapes. Like build the graphics card into a component, the memory, everything, and then you can
Modular.
build your own
I mean,
console.
modular is probably the way that it would work, right? It's just it's so hugely expensive
like,
to
yeah,
do, and
yeah.
everyone's going
This
to do a
year, you just
proprietary
need to
version.
upgrade your hard drive. This year, you only have to upgrade your memory.
That's what I do on my computer every when I can afford it. Every other year. It's now I can't
Yeah.
because components are stupid. But it used to be 2 years. It was basically all my components were on a 4-year cycle. It was I would do my GPU and RAM at the same time. I'd upgrade both of those, and then 2 years I'd do my motherboard CPU, and then 2 years I'd do my GPU RAM, and then 2 years I'd do my motherboard CPU, and that's how I would do it, and I would do that for a console for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, but I guess you get to the point where it's like, well, the consoles are already so close to being PCs, and given that the next gen's looking like it's going to be a hybrid console, like, what's the difference? I mean, we were talking about how there was a lot of chat around like Xbox getting out of the hardware business altogether.
Yeah.
And the only kind of reason they didn't was that they had basically said they were at least in for one more console. And so you're right, this might be it, right? This might be the console to end all consoles, and then the only thing that would make sense going forward is to build a white labeled PC that has an Xbox logo on it, that it gets the Microsoft Xbox certified PC or whatever.
You buying an Alienware with regular Windows, or you're buying an Xbox computer with Xbox Windows?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And it's like, and then you get it dual boots, of course, and does all that shit. Again, because that's pretty much what this the Project Helix sounds like it's going to be, just in everything but name. So I'll be really curious to see how that shakes out. But it could be the last proper generation for sure. Yeah. And
yeah, as long as I can get a towel module, like if I get a red ring on my PC,
you can wrap it around it to exactly. Yeah.
Towel module, around the console.
Put it in the microwave for a couple of seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, lending some credence to this is our first news story here, that Xbox backwards compatibility team, they were sort of hinting some stuff earlier this year that we kind of talked about. People were thinking maybe they were doing more in the backwards compatibility space around like some 360 games. There was a whole wish list website that got set up. A lot of people want Transformers games on backwards compatibility, it turns out. But yeah, it turns out that this is looking like they're going to be expanding the Xbox backwards compatibility for original Xbox games and bringing that all to PC. And so that means that they've launched 4 original Xbox games will be now available on PC to play. So that's Blinks the Time Sweeper, Conquer Live and Reloaded, Crimson Skies, and Fusion Frenzy, which again, kind of obvious picks. So you can basically purchase those games. I don't exactly know how it's going to work. I guess it's through their streaming service. But the idea is that you'll essentially own them in the same way that you potentially already do on the console. You can now they'll basically become play anywhere titles, which is really, really interesting.
So they are on the list already.
Yep.
They're already there.
Yep.
So
And if they're on Game Pass, they're included.
From Games with Gold. Yes, and if you had Games with Gold, it says you own them from the past if they were on there. So like Conquer. So
yeah, and they've also put the minimum spec requirements to play them, and they're all like, you need a NVIDIA 950 to play it. So even I can play it.
950 is crazy for Conquer. Like, what are we talking about? You should be able to run that on a potato.
I mean, you need 8 gigs of RAM though, so
that's insane, honestly.
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess it's through the emulation.
Not to be like a nitpick complainer, like that is like the minimum specs. I'm sure, like an i3 and like most. To be fair, by like Windows specs, if you don't have 8 gigs of RAM, your computer probably doesn't turn on.
That's true. You wouldn't be able to run Windows 11. Yeah,
but still, to run Fusion Frenzy, you need a 950 and 8 gigs of RAM when the Xbox had like 400 megs of RAM and a 2-thread processor. It's insane.
Yeah, exactly.
It does say install. Really, it definitely says install. So
that is super funny to me. Like, again, get it, nitpicking. I understand why they would say that, but that is super funny to me to see on paper.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see exactly. I haven't played around with it exactly in terms of like how it works, but they've added 4 times resolution scaling, VSync support, texture filtering, anti-aliasing. So they have done a little bit of upscaling work to these, which is kind of cool.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, so
the specs make more sense.
Yeah, so it isn't just the original ones running on the original hardware. I mean, I guess they're doing some emulation tricks here as well. But I guess that's also I haven't put this in the news, but it's basically confirmed that it's also going to be bringing a lot of the 360 backwards compatible library to PC as well. Based on how the software works. Again, the insiders have been kind of data mining this stuff. They haven't announced anything yet, so again, how many titles that might include, who knows? But there are definitely a few games that are kind of locked on the 360 that you just kind of like never made it to PC for whatever reason.
It would be nice if I can put my Japanese copy of Mass Effect 2 into the PC and it runs the Japanese copy.
That'd be cool. If the goal is Helix to be a console PC, but also support, like, I don't think you can't make a console that doesn't support people's digital libraries.
Yeah, exactly.
They sealed the deal on that with the Xbox One, PS4. You have to. If the goal is to make a new console that is basically a PC console, how do you not bring the 360 and Xbox original games over?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you have to. I'm gonna be honest. When this was being teased or rumored, when the backwards compatible stuff was being talked about, this is not what I expected.
No.
I almost thought, basically based on my previous statement, that this was going to be a given. So I was really thinking they were going to start revitalize the program and start making more backwards compatible games,
which they may still do. To be fair, the team still exists, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say, Colin in the chat says, I hope OG Xbox games get achievements eventually. That would be cool. Well, you're in luck, because they've also announced that in a couple months, they're going to be adding achievement support to these 4 games and other OG Xbox games they're going to be bringing forward. So it's not in there.
I missed that part.
Yeah, so it's not in there yet, but they will be adding achievements. They're not retroactive, though. They did come out and say that, so don't jump on them too quickly if you don't want to have to replay the games. But adding achievements to original Xbox games, I'm sure that's pretty high on a lot of like achievement hunters lists. It would get me to go back and play so many games.
I was talking to somebody the other day. Forza Motorsport 1. Yeah. Like having the complete collection of completed Forza games.
Yeah, well, I can't do Forza Horizon.
It's just stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So
It is really cool.
Don't tell me that, dude. Just a couple of years ago, I went through and 100%ed Forza Motorsport 1 on. I played back on the 360 back because it wasn't on the Xbox One backwards BC list.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that again, dude. It was so long, even for the first Forza. The games have always been so long.
Yeah.
Well, again,
we're running out of Forza, so
I don't know how many games they're going to bring over. Like they haven't talked about any of those, but they will be kind of rolling them out. And
the move makes sense. Like they've been, if they want to be competitive, like Sony's been saying, here's PS1 and PS2 classics. Oh, and also they have trophies.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, duh. Give your Xbox One games trophy or achievements if you want to be competitive.
Yeah. And I think it's an interesting one, and they can kind of pick and choose what games they bring to the program. And then also being able to play those games on a PC is also like a nice benefit to have. That kind of play anywhere sort of style thing that they've been working on. Also having them be part of Game Pass, like these four, like if you don't have to go out and buy them. If you have Game Pass, you can just play them, even though they're not like, first party titles necessarily.
That might actually solve the problem with some of the frame rate stuff, whereas you can't control it on the console, but you can control it on PC
potentially
through an emulation process. Yeah.
Moonzom says they legally probably can't do it for Jet Set Radio Future. Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of licensing things that they'll have to jump through to kind of get some of this stuff working. But
it's just got to be. Yeah, it's just got to be that thing where it's like you put the disc in, it works, and if you don't have it, you don't have it. So,
and if you're unfamiliar with how PlayStation does they give you a PS1 and PS2 game and they give trophies, that those trophies are only for first party games.
Yes,
so
exactly.
They'll go put out Armored Core or a bunch of other third party games, but they don't have achievements or trophies on the service, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm sure it's probably some stipulation here where they can't just go, because they'd have to like modify some amount of code or something, and I'm sure they can't do that to a game they don't own the IP of. So I get it.
It's the like points in the memory where it's like this unlocks at this point, this unlocks at this point thing on the back end where it's retroactively put into games.
Yeah.
So that's a memory based thing on where it is in the line of the code. So, but yeah, so it's not impossible, but it's more work. So,
and also, how much work are they going to put into these games in terms of like, I'm sure not a lot of people are going to buy these things. But I think to your point, Jack, there was a lot of stuff around Helix potentially being like a dual booting kind of console where it was like, oh, if you want to play Xbox stuff, like old console stuff, you have to boot into the console mode, and then you had a PC mode. But I think this is sounding more like actually they're just going to try and bring as much of the console stuff over to PC. Which would
I think with the Ally OS, it was the tech test.
Yeah,
the Ally, they're just gonna do. It's just gonna be, and not only that, they have the Ally OS, the custom Windows OS that they built for handheld. They recently announced you can do the same thing to your Windows PC. You can go enable like Xbox gaming mode or whatever, and then it like boots into the Xbox app first, and it's based around controlling it with a controller. It's just I think there's no world where the next Xbox console isn't just doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it looks really interesting. I mean, we'll get to play Fusion Frenzy, which is famously Bill Gates' favorite game on the original Xbox. So, get to enjoy that.
But before Xbox Series games, that being the Brotato. We know we've got a consistent.
Yeah, you got Phil Spencer loves Brotato. We know Bill Gates loved Fusion Frenzy. Yeah. We don't know what game Don Matrick and really enjoyed, but it was probably an always online one.
We're getting there. Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait to go back and play like Crimson Skies and Blinks and stuff. Like that'd be great, a great reason. I'm really hoping that things like Psychonauts and because I don't know, like the Xbox generation, that was definitely their smallest generation. There aren't that many original Xbox games. But a lot of them across were like cross console. So
but there's a couple of games that were like Dino Crisis 3 never made it over here, right? So you had to have an American console that ran at 60 hertz.
I was gonna say over here. You mean Dino Crisis 3 never came to Australia?
I don't think so.
It never came to Australia. No, it didn't. No. So
Crazy.
So, a funny story. Like, I kind of had my Xbox. I had an Xbox, and then I'm like, okay, I'll go get some Monster component cables, and then I'll do this trick that you can do with a console to change it to the American like backend. You can like boot it in a way where it'll do it. And then I went online with the console, and then that console was bricked basically instantly because it wasn't playing. So I'm like, I then replaced it, but then I'm like, no, I'm not doing that again. So
Yeah, fair.
So yeah.
Yeah, agreed. That was probably the smart move. Yeah, not to completely brick your consoles. Yeah,
I'm like,
I mean,
yeah.
the original Xbox.
I got to play one session of that game. Yeah, so.
Was it Moonzom said that the original Xbox was the best one for modding? This is true. But back in the day, I definitely had friends who had like mod chips and that sort of stuff. Oh, Burnout 3. Yeah, Burnout 3 would be a great one. There's a lot of good stuff. All right, next story here. This is great. A great quote from Xbox here. We're committed to making this clearer. Xbox exec says it's not obvious to players which games will be exclusive. Yes, we're aware that you guys have a messaging problem. So apparently, yeah, Xbox is still reportedly still deciding what upcoming games are going to be multi-platform. We've kind of talked a bit about this when they announced that it was a bit of a surprise that Gears was kind of made console exclusive last minute, but it was also one of the only few games that they had announced multi-platform. Yeah. We then talked about why Ninja was like, what's the Senua game and State of Decay 3 were going to multi-plat, and then suddenly they sold those studios, so suddenly that made a bit more sense. Fable,
it's funny. It's funny when there's a quote like this comes out, and then you're like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah,
so make it clear, and I'm like, "What does that mean?" It's not clear at all, guys. But anyway, keep going. So.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is just to say that it's not. They said it's not obvious to all players. I don't think it's obvious to any players. I couldn't tell you. Like, is the next Halo going to be console exclusive?
You know what they should just say? What they really need to say is it's not going to be on PS5. That's all.
Can you imagine? Yeah, they're like, fuck Sony.
Not on.
They need a logo, not on PS5.
Yeah, because
one of those little panels at the back of the case. Yeah, because they'll still do physical, right? So.
With the rumors, the all but confirmed rumors of what their next console's supposed to be, they're embracing so excessively of their PC platform. What the fuck does a console exclusive mean? It's gonna be on the PC.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It might not be on Steam. It might be Xbox platform.
And most of them are going to come to Steam too, though. Like, I think Gears is going to be on Steam.
I think some might, and I think some might not. I think because didn't they say like Clockwork Revolution was
one? That's another console exclusive, but again, we also don't really know too much more about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
Are you just gonna if you're just gonna force people to make Xbox accounts to play the game, so they have to get the Xbox app and play on the PC? Fine, but just if you're not truly you have to have an Xbox Series X to play this, don't call it a console exclusive. Just say Xbox platform exclusive, or just say not on fucking PlayStation. You want clear messaging. Just say it's not going to be on PlayStation.
Yeah, fuck off, Sony. Basically, with just a middle finger, the logo for them. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll stamp it on the disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was an interview.
It's so stupid.
So Games Radar had an interview with Matt Booty, who's the Xbox Chief Content Officer, and he was originally head of Xbox Studios. And they were talking with him and Matt Booty and Matthew Ball, who's their new chief. He's their strategy officer, I believe. And they were talking about how they're planning their large live service stuff. And this is basically the same approach that Sony took for what was going to be on PC, where they were like, yeah, live service stuff is going to be on everything, but they didn't say necessarily that single player stuff would only be console exclusive. So it's I wouldn't overly fixate on single player, Booty added. I think there's some good rule of thumb, but it's certainly not something that we've just carved into stone. Explaining the process behind choosing which games are exclusive and which aren't, Booty said, we're the stewards of over 20 game franchises that have made $1 billion in their lifetime. There are a lot of games in our portfolio, and we have to think about how different games serve different purposes within it. which is basically our way of saying we haven't fucking decided yet. We decide this last minute, and you'll find out when we know. Which I think is kind of insane. I don't know, like maybe that's just me, but like it feels like Xbox is like the one thing that has not been synonymous with Xbox over this generation has been consistency, right? They have been back and forth on shit all of the time, whether it's pricing, whether it's exclusivity, whether it's like strategy in terms of like, are we trying to sell consoles? Is Game Pass the main thing? Is streaming a big thing for us? Yes, no, who the fuck knows? Like the fact that they're coming out and being like, oh yeah, we've got this new console exclusive strategy thing where they're are not coming to PlayStation strategy. We have one game coming out this year and one game coming out next year that we've confirmed for it, and that's it. Like all the other stuff, like Fable's already coming out, Forza Horizon's already doing PlayStation. Halo is on PlayStation tomorrow? Like, I don't know. It feels like maybe this is just because of what was done in the past, and that they kind of have to live with those decisions of commitments they've already made. But I guess my question to you guys is: do you think we're going to have like this exclusivity thing is going to be a big thing for Xbox, and a lot of the Xbox stuff is going to be exclusive, or is it just going to be a select things here and there?
I mean, I think I think it makes complete sense to make your first party game like I always go back and forth on like, exclusivity sucks. I want people who only have an Xbox to be able to play Bloodborne, because I think games are an art and everyone should be able to experience them. But also, we don't live in an idealistic fantasy land where companies aren't competing with each other. So like that won't happen. So in the real world, I think it makes complete sense. I think it's probably Microsoft's best interest to release their games on their platforms, like not even Steam. Like they need to just do the Xbox PC app and their consoles. Great. But the when you're doing it on a console and a PC, the vibes, the feelings of it being a console exclusive are gone.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's a big deal or not. Like I think from a business strategy standpoint, they should only be probably releasing them on their platforms. But like I think people are freaking out about like Microsoft's going back to, exclusives and stuff, and huge win for Xbox fans and stuff. But I think once it starts rolling out and starts happening, since it's happening on PC and Xbox, and since the new Xbox is probably going to be basically PC, it's not going to hit like it's a console exclusive. It's just gonna.
It's not going to sell units.
It's gonna be like having to download Epic to play a game only on the Epic launcher.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like it's the biggest whatever nothing burger. So but I don't know. I think it makes sense, but I don't think it's gonna be huge for them.
Yeah, but I also think there's something to be said, given that PlayStation are pulling out of PC and kind of going the opposite direction of going. They're tightening it in, where they're like, well, actually, we don't want to do the PC thing anymore. So PC becomes the sort of Xbox Steam thing, and they kind of deal with that.
Dude, I know. They should, if Sony doesn't want to sell games on Steam, fine, but they should just also make their own marketplace then on PC. Like them being what's the word?
Isolationist?
What's the word when isolationist? Them being isolationists, I think is like it's stupid.
It's the most Japanese thing they could do, to be fair. But
it is the most Japanese thing they could do. You're totally right, but I don't know, man. Like they're moving really weird lately.
Everyone is. This whole industry is fucking. It's so strange. Like to feel like, well, where the fuck are things going? I think this is like what we're talking about with like next gen, in terms of like, what does next gen even look like for these companies that keep changing things and not really feeling like that? Yeah, they've just. Yeah,
they're moving like
that's
late
where I was gonna
PS2
go. Yeah,
Sony.
Yeah, like with your PC. Yeah, Matt, your point about PC, like them going in that direction where they're pulling away from PC, they've pissed off all their fans. It's like, does Xbox even have to worry too much about that now? They have the PC space. They'll have people with accounts. that are tied to Xbox, if they keep it on like majority on like the Windows Store or something, they really flesh that out or whatever. Then
Yeah, you have to
they're
have a
bridging
Microsoft
the
account to
gap.
have Windows 11. They
You
nailed
have
it.
to have a
Like,
Microsoft account. Yeah, you're bridging the console PC domain where PlayStation is not, and maybe you just go to PlayStation for exclusives now. But then you're going to buy consoles for the exclusives that are digital.
Well, then I was going to say
like,
the other bit is that what fucking exclusives?
that are mid, that are fucking mid.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing. That's why I'm so pissed at Sony, is because I'm like, I give them all of their flowers for the PS4 and what they did and the games they released, and it was just, they were unmatched. They were releasing incredible pieces of art. And then the PS5 comes out, and it's been obviously a giant fucking world event called COVID. I get it. But Sony is sitting here making no real game right. Like, Spider-Man 2 was fine from what I hear. Ghost of Yotei was like more Ghost of Tsushima. Wolverine looks kind of dog. Like, I've been watching the gameplay trailers. I'm not that interested in Wolverine.
I think it looks fine in a way that it needs to not.
God of War 2018, Spider-Man, and Horizon Zero Dawn made me want to buy a PS4. Wolverine, Spider-Man 2, like, nothing on the PS5 is like, the only, you know what made me buy my PS5 was Final Fantasy 16.
Sure.
And that came to other consoles. And that's my favorite series. I just needed to play.
And that's not Sony, right? That's Square.
That's not them, that's Square, exactly.
The same trouble with the with Wolverine, where we did the podcast after the trailer came out here, and I said, I don't like the way, Logan jumps from vehicle to vehicle. It looks so like the way that he jumps doesn't seem organic. It seems
the whole game looks awkward to play, and the flow of it all looks like, I watched some gameplay trailers, and like the way they had this set piece like just playing out, I'm like, this looks weird. This looks kind of uncomfortable to play. Like clunky. But so they're releasing kind of mid games. They're trying to pivot, and they're trying to strike gold with a live service game, and then they failed at that. And so they're gonna say, by the way, you don't own any of your games. By the way, we're not making good games. By the way, this is gonna be $1,000. By the way, you can't play anything on PC. Where do you get off?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. The proposition is insane. And I'm sure it'll still appeal to some people. And like, like, I'm sure Wolverine will get 9s and 8s, I'm sure, like, they always do, and like, yeah, but like, to be fair,
like, I watched, I'm sorry, I don't, I know I'm like, I feel like I'm taking up a lot of the
no, you're good. Go for
this conversation.
No.
But I watch so many streamers. Like, I'm big in watching Twitch streamers and stuff. And I watched so many streamers in my community play so many PS4 games on launch, and then even, some PS5 games on launch. But in the last few years, I haven't seen any of the people I used to watch who would just get them, like, were so hyped over the next Sony exclusive. I haven't seen like any of them play any of them. Because just, I think the overall sentiment is, we've seen this before. It's, it's good, but like, I've seen it before, and I'm not chomping at the bit for it anymore. I don't know. It's just, I don't get why Sony, like, the hubris is insane. The fact that they were basically like, we're not doing anything, despite all the backlash, we're not doing anything because we trust the brand health. We trust the brand to carry us. I'm like, how did that go in 2006 with the PS3?
$599 US. Yeah. Ridge Racer. I go back and watch that press conference sometimes. It's a banger.
Giant enemy crab. They're gonna say PS6 $999.99, and
Genji 3.
I don't know, man. I fucking God. I just want him to get humbled. I really do.
Well, I mean, it does really feel like that they kind of dropped the ball. And like, you're right. Like, I think COVID, and like, Xbox is not in a much better state, to be fair. They obviously had more studios. A lot of those did not put out games, or those games like Starfield, for example, like really did not hit. And then a lot of these, they've got layoffs and shutdowns, and obviously PlayStation are in this weird spot where they've got Bungie that they overpaid for, and now Destiny's dead. Like it's across the board is not looking good for any of them.
Wholly agree. But it feels like Xbox recognizes that and is constantly trying to crawl their way out of it, and you can see it in the actions they're taking.
But because they flip flop and change things and just experiment.
Yeah, I'm like, I respect them. But it seems like Sony is constantly doubling down on shit takes and shit moves. Constantly.
Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see what happens. But I think also the fact that Naughty Dog hasn't released a game this generation is kind of insane to me, considering how Uncharted was so hugely popular, and just like every Naughty Dog game has been pretty fucking good.
I want 3 Jak and Daxters in a single generation. That's how Sony can save this.
There you go. Right. That's all it took. God, you guys check out
3 Sly Scoopers, 3 Ratchet and Clanks, 3 Jak and Daxters. That's all I got to do.
I'm just and a kart race.
That's what they took from us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we got in the PS2 era. That's what they took from us.
That's what happens when they didn't do Uncarded. Like they do 3 games in a kart race. So that's what they should have done. They just didn't fucking do it.
Should have done Uncarded.
Yeah. But oh god, you should go if you guys haven't seen it, check out The Game Business. They did a podcast with one of the founders of Naughty Dog, and just kind of like a look through of his life in terms of how Naughty Dog got started. It's so fucking interesting in terms of just like the ups and downs that he went through. Anyway, I think to your point, and Moonzom also said, is this a first to get exclusive strategy? I don't think it is. I think what they've talked about, and maybe it's they get it way down the line, but they've come out and said that this Xbox strategy of console exclusives are console exclusives, not timed exclusives. Which, okay, what does that mean? I guess
out of PC, you can't say that. Just say platform exclusive.
Sure, yeah, not coming to PlayStation exclusive.
Fuck you, Sony exclusive.
Well, that's okay. If they're going to say console exclusive, that includes PlayStation.
Well,
to be fair.
They basically said it's, again, their terminology, but they've been very clear that they mean that it's not. They've basically said it's not coming to other consoles, is what they've been saying. So
yeah,
so
PC's fine under that.
Yeah, because they don't care.
Yeah, it's not platform exclusive. It's console exclusive.
USA exclusive. Yeah, exactly. Moonzom. They'll go back to that. NTSC exclusive.
When they announce a game that's supposed to be this console or platform exclusive, instead of the Xbox logo coming into view, they should just do a PlayStation logo coming into view with just the red X across it.
Oh god!
I can't wait until
Calvin Hobbs pissing on it. The
PlayStation 6 panel that shows the price for the PlayStation 6 with PS6. That'll go out into 3 6s, 666, and then flip to be 999.
Yeah, there you go. That's the price. Yeah, they've nailed it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my god,
that's the marketing strat. Sony, you can have that one. So,
I guess the other thing though is that the strategy they've gone with their first party stuff is you buy it once, you can play it on Xbox or PC. So the idea of it being exclusive doesn't really matter because Play Anywhere is now the thing. If you buy Gears of War, you play it on PC, it's the same version you play on Xbox. It's a buy one ecosystem. So in that regard, I can see what they're saying, right? Because you get a Windows version of the game whenever you buy the console version of the game.
Yeah,
but
I just think it'd still be way less confusing if they just said platform, and then they post a blog post that they blast everywhere, and they say, "What is the Xbox platform?
Yeah, exactly.
Xbox platform is anywhere you launch the Xbox application to play Xbox games. That could be your console, your PC, your phone, your blah 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 blah."
Yeah, but they did kill the everything is an Xbox console strategy. They did, so they got to be a little bit careful about their messaging. But I'm with you. I think that there's an interesting thing there around what is this? Yeah, I guess my question there though is this the new norm for Xbox, or is this the Like, is the next Halo going to be in this again? We'll just say console exclusive bucket. Is the next Forza going to be in that? Is the next Fable after this one? Is the next fucking I don't even know what do they even have left.
I think it should.
Is the next Rare game going to be this? But I guess that's my question though, is that they haven't been clear about it. They haven't come out and said, hey, guess what? Every single player game that comes out from now on for its first party, we're keeping it exclusive.
I think it's gonna be, and this is speculation, obviously, but I think it's gonna be, and I think they just can't say that yet because they have contractual obligations.
That's probably what it is. Yeah. I just but why come out and be like, oh yeah, we have a strategy internally, but we can't say it? Just shut the fuck up. I think that's Xbox's problem, is they don't know how to shut the fuck up. Because you don't see like Sony coming out here and talking about any of this shit. You know, that like
they don't say anything.
They're like, oh, this disc thing. Yeah,
and then they
yeah, they just fucking do it. They're like, hey, guess what? This blog post. We're not going on any podcasts. We're not doing any fucking like we're barely tweeting about it. We just block anyone who mentions the word disc. Like, yeah.
And what does Xbox do? They make a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. They have a sit down. They got to do it. You know, they got to jump on Games Radar. Like, and as much as I'd love to have the Xbox senior leadership team on this podcast, I feel like it's the wrong move.
Yeah, probably.
Also, just got a quick. Actually, I'll move the story up because it's more relevant here. So we also talked a bit the last couple of weeks around what's happening with Sony moving out of the physical media space. They announced that they're obviously going to be stop printing discs after January 1st, 2028. For any new games going forward, there will be some capacity for existing games. And so, to kind of what Jake was saying, like it's another one of those Sony moves where they're like, wow, just fuck you basically to the market. Having said that,
their numbers.
Yeah,
all disingenuous.
There have definitely been a lot of talk around like how big of an impact this is going to have, what games are selling, like how much of a market are they going to be losing out on if they assume that every person who buys a disc would not buy digitally, losing potentially up to like 25% of their market. But I'm sure they've crunched the numbers and gone, well, actually, realistically, 90% of those people will buy it on digital if it's not available on disc. But that also doesn't take into account the used market. There's a whole, this could have a huge ripple effect on the industry as a whole. But there have been some analytics that have come out. Sakana, so Matt Piscatella, who's their industry advisor over there, came out with a bit of a news story here that apparently two PlayStation video games sold more than 10,000 physical units in the US in the week ending of July 11th, and only 7 have sold over 100,000 physical units this year to date. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is taken on a life of its own. People are getting death threats. It's fucking like this. I haven't seen a media shitstorm like this in a long time. Even people who are not gamers are hearing about this fact that Sony are ending any physical. But it is an interesting number to think about, that only 7 PlayStation games have sold over 100,000 units physically this year. Having said that,
what?
it is like, this is the slower part of the year. I wonder what that number will look like by the time we get to Christmas.
Also, like what sales are they tracking, or what are they like? What does that mean? What does that mean? What do you mean 7 PlayStation games? 7 PlayStation exclusives? 7 PlayStation games that released this year? Like, what are you taking into account? And obviously, you're not taking kind of the used market. You're not taking into account, like, are you not I want to know, are you tracking? What are you tracking? Like, it just seems like a disingenuous framing. It's hard to trust that when Sony's initial reports were also disingenuous framing.
For sure.
Where they said 85% of our games are digital. Yeah, you included, like, the whole, like, did they include DLC or not is up for debate. People are like, no, they didn't, and some people say they do, whatever. But they did include digital only and PlayStation Plus titles. So that's incredibly disingenuous. That shifts the curve a lot. So, like, what are these 7 games, or what games are you looking at here? what retailers are you looking at? Like, where did this number come from? I don't trust you, Sony. I'm sorry, you've already skewed your numbers for your narrative on purpose. Why wouldn't you do it again? You know?
Yeah, and to be fair, like this is only looking at the US market because Sakana only has access to that sort of stuff. So there is obviously caveats upon caveats. But again, like the US isn't the entire world. Like it's yeah. But I think it's an
Yeah.
interesting indicative idea of like how big of an impact this is going to have. Because I agree, I think it's a bad move. I understand why they're making it from a business point of view because they want to make more money. They want to kill the used market. They want to have they don't want to give their money to retailers. They want to make sure they make 100% of that they want to make sure they make their 30% on every game that's sold, 100% on the ones they own. Yeah, but in terms of I'm still trying to find out like exactly what the okay, so it looks like the games are FC26, RE9, Lego Batman, 007 First Light, Monster Hunter Wilds, the new version they brought out, and like Crimson Desert. I think are the only ones on the new
Oh,
new-ish.
so the hottest games of the year.
Oh, sure, yeah.
for
Obviously,
sure.
those will be the ones that sell the most, right? But I guess the idea being that like there have been quite a few other games that have come out on the PlayStation this year in the US.
No, and I mean like I was being sarcastic. Like those, don't get me wrong, good games, but like those can't be what you're basing your metrics on. Those aren't your blockbuster hits.
Exactly,
Like
and
Resident Evil
yeah.
9, maybe.
We haven't hit September yet. Like, and to be fair, like this isn't Matt coming out here and saying that this is the proof, right? He's just reporting on what the numbers are. But I think
Yeah.
there is something to be said for like it is the slower part of the year. We'll see what again. September is looking fucking insane. We've still got GTA, but obviously that's not going to have a physical copies anymore. And this is very much US based, so I'll be very curious to see. But I mean, we've seen this in retail. We saw this we talked about this last week where GameStop's CEO came out and said, "Oh yeah, I don't really care that physical media isn't going to be a thing anymore. It's only like 12% of our sales." And
well, he's also trying to buy eBay.
Yeah, which again he got told to fuck off because eBay's bigger than he is, and he's like, "Oh, we'll do a leveraged buyout," and everyone's like, "Bro, you're insane."
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like 100K is the low end. Obviously, like I'm sure, like that's the minimum. I'm sure Resident Evil Requiem sold a lot more than that. Yeah, I'm very curious to see kind of what this looks like. But I'm also not super surprised that Sony want to move in this direction. And I'd love to see the numbers look like at the end of this year when we suddenly have some like September is looking crazy. There's so many games in that space. And I think also to your point, Jake, like when the original numbers were pulled for like what the percentages of games bought digitally, that also included things that never had discs to begin with. Which is like, well, that's going to fucking skew your numbers, isn't it?
I do get it from a business perspective. From a I live quarter to quarter. I'm thinking about the shareholders' perspective. But yeah, it's disgustingly anti-consumer. Just not even from the fact of like not giving you the option to buy physical, but like the fact that they want to like gut the secondhand market is just disgusting.
So they've definitely solidified it in the sense that yesterday we received a new stock of the external disk drive that you can attach to the PS5. They have huge ass stickers that are across the whole cover that say disk support is ending in 2028, blah, blah, blah. The whole thing. It's like, if you buy this thing, just be aware that you will not have any games to put in it after 2028. So,
yeah, I mean, I remember when the PSP Go came out, and that was that, there was the sort of UMD-less handheld they came out with. And they were like, oh, it's all digital. And retailers were like, well, then we're not going to fucking sell it because we won't sell any games. Like, we won't stock your product because why would we? Like, you'd be putting us out of business. And so I'm very curious to see again if games retailers still exist by the time the next generation comes out and the PS5, the PS6 obviously won't have a disc drive. This is the reason they've done this, right? Is so that they get this bad news out of the way now, get people used to buying digital. So when the next gen comes along, they go, yeah, no, of course it doesn't have a disc drive. Why the fuck would you think it has a disc drive? We haven't made discs in 2 or 3 years. But I don't know. It feels like, well, who's going to sell them? And then Sony will sell them direct, and which retailers are going to, I guess it doesn't really matter to them with like pack-in stuff, but it just feels like the retail angle of the games industry is basically going to die on the back of this.
Yeah,
What if it was
I'm
a
really
huge fake out? And yeah, what if it was a huge fake out and they were actually going to cartridge?
Can you imagine? Jesus.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. I would respect it. I don't know if we'll see Microsoft do it, but I really hope they go, well, we're gonna have a disk drive. And again, I just want to see Sony take it in the face, dude. I want to see him take it so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there have been rumors that they may be sticking with the disk drive with the next gen because, again,
Yeah.
backwards compatibility is still relatively important. There obviously was that other news story around how they're testing the disk to digital thing where you can kind of load a disk and have it give you a digital license as long as no one else uses that disk. Yeah, Moonzom says, here's your hard drive to play GTA 6. Yeah, that's the other bit too, right? Is that like, it's only so much, a lot of these games you can't load everything onto a disk.
This is a idealistic world that's not going to happen. But how baller of a move would it be if Microsoft was like, we are going to support discs, and if you like rebate some of your Sony discs, we'll send you an Xbox disc.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah,
that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
Like, send us some of your PlayStation discs. We'll send you an Xbox copy free of charge to play on your.
All you have to do is put your PS5, PS4 disc in your Xbox, and it will disc to digital.
That'd be great. That's why I couldn't even go that far in the idealistic world.
They give you a $5 version
of
the game. Yeah,
crazy legality for that they can do that. But what they could legally do is say, if you give us your PS5 copies, we'll send you Xbox copies. To Switch. So buy an Xbox and we'll give you your PS5 games as Xbox games. I don't know what that looked like. I'm sure they'd lose probably just infinite money on doing that, but it'd be like that'd be crazy baller move.
Yeah, I mean, there are places where I think it's like Walmart has like things where you can like scan your physical DVDs or whatever, and they'll give you like a digital code for it, and you just kind of like, I don't know, do it like a swap thing. I don't know. It says there's definitely opportunity there, and I think Xbox are trying to make the best of the backwards compatibility piece, but I just don't think that Xbox also have the brand share at the moment to really kind of do anything like that because of how badly they've been fucking up with layoffs and studios, getting shipped off. And, I think they're also
that's
not
just
in a
the
great
thing.
spot.
In the all digital world, that's the thing where it would be so hard for anyone to jump ship to Xbox if they've been PS4, PS5, is because they're like, well, I already have my library. That's I'm sure a large reason Sony feels like they don't have to compete as hard for the PS6
because they're outselling 5-1.
Yeah, like, where are you gonna go? All your games, we already own all your games, and that's what it is. Don't pretend it's anything else. It's not, all your games are already here. It's we already own all your games.
We let you play all your games
hostage. Yeah. So what choice do you have, idiot? Yeah. That's why, if anything, I think the more realistic thing that comes out of this, I don't think we bully. Like, I want to believe we can bully Sony into getting discs back. I think it's going to be really hard. I think the more realistic thing we get out of it is digital media protections.
Yeah,
what at least.
But that needs to be a whole legal thing, right? I think that there's a whole different kettle of fish to jump into there. But I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Because the discs aren't so much. I mean, obviously that is a problem, and collectors obviously have an interest, and you want to have competition in your market, so it's not just one game in town. But I also there's also an interesting thing that kind of got brought up. I saw somewhere the idea that if Microsoft or Sony kind of get rid of discs and that the stores become the only place to buy your games, they potentially run into the risk of the same stuff that that Apple and Google are running into with the phone market, where they're getting sued for having a monopoly on the storefronts that they have and not allowing other storefronts. Can you imagine if PlayStation go through all of this, just so they can centralize around their storefront so they make all the profit, and then the legal entities come in and say, well, now you have a monopoly and you have to allow other storefronts, and Xbox go, hey, guess what? You can buy an Xbox, you can buy a Windows game on, we'll just add the Windows storefront to the PlayStation because legally they have to allow us to get on there, and you can just buy the Xbox version of that.
True.
And I mean, like there is a non-zero chance that they fuck themselves by doing this. Now, that'll probably take years to happen, so they probably don't give a fuck. That's three CEOs' problem to worry about. But it is definitely one of those long things where it's like when you create these problems, and you're looking around other parts of this industry where monopoly stuff gets smashed, and again, that depends on and a lot of the stuff will be the US in particular, what could potentially happen to these storefronts where it's like they have to have competition. Because I mean, you could probably
that's
argue,
an interesting point I never considered.
You could argue that and I'm sure PlayStation will come out and say, well, no, you can still buy the games in store. You just buy the disc, you buy the code in the box or whatever. And like
it'll be a vending machine with just like, which game do you want?
Exactly, yeah. But then it's like, but those things will be exactly the same price as what's on the PlayStation store, and they'll go, oh, that's competition, and you'll go, well, is it really? I don't know. There's interesting stuff that could happen there. And then one quick one here. Xbox has also been doing some testing for streaming games for free with ad support, which is a little bit interesting. So if you obviously if you want to be streaming at the moment, whether it's if you want to go through Xbox Cloud streaming or like Xbox stuff, you need to have a Game Pass subscription. I think you need to have Ultimate. I think they've kind of have different tiers for each of them, but you need to have some sort of Game Pass subscription. Basically, what they're doing is testing for non-Game Pass subscribers, which there are quite a few of them because they never quite hit that milestone of the 70 million. I think they're at 30 million now. And so what they're allowing you to do is, if you're an Xbox insider, you can you can stream games on the cloud for free. You just have to watch an ad to begin with. They're testing it at the moment. The game experience isn't unchanged. There's no ads in the game. It's basically just when you load it up, and you can only run it for an hour at the moment. So again, it's a very much like a test bed thing. And they sort of talking about how it's optional. And they've kind of put down 5 rules. Xbox says it'll stand by the following 5 rules when using ad-supported services. We start with the player. Ads should create value. We do not interrupt the flow of gameplay. We should hold ads to the same quality bar as our content. We're clear about what's advertising, and we make sure the ad fits with what the player expects on each platform. Now, again, Xbox and PlayStation have been putting fucking ads on their dashboards forever, so there's nothing new about that. But the idea of ad-subsidized streaming, I think maybe gives us also a little bit of a direction of what they might be thinking about pushing people towards as we get to this very expensive next generation looking like, if you're spending $1,000 on a box, or you just stream to our data center and you watch an ad at the beginning of it. I mean, I'm sure this is not going to be just for the free tier. They're going to roll ads into the paid tiers as well, because fuck us. But yeah, it's interesting to see. We're definitely seeing a lot more ad support stuff happening at the moment. EA is in the same position. That they are doing some more ad. They're basically trying to build a ad buying platform within games that can be used, that's already integrated with the Frostbite engine. From a marketing perspective, I think it's very, very interesting. The technology is quite interesting, and obviously I do ad buys for my job and that sort of stuff. But obviously as a consumer, I think it's fucking awful and terrible, and I think it's going to be bad for everyone because they never know when to stop. But yeah, wanted to get you guys' thoughts on like trying to get people in the door for streaming as a potential option and having it be ad supported. I mean, obviously this hour thing obviously means that it's not going to be playing for super, super long. But yeah, any thoughts?
Well, I mean, maybe they'll roll it into the paid tier, right? And then the free tier will be press select, pull up the map, and then there's another ad there, a la Ubisoft.
Yeah,
with their Assassin's
Creed. I was gonna say they kind of like, they have to, if they're gonna put it in the free tier and then they're gonna put it in the lowest paid tier, they have to make the free tier now less appetizing than the lowest paid tier.
Yes.
and then stepping stones up until the least intrusive ads are when you pay $22 a month for Game Pass Ultimate and you only get you get 90 seconds of ads when you start your game. But yeah, on your lowest tier, every mission clear is gonna have an ad afterward.
It's fucking
It's
Doritos
gonna
ad
be
after you shoot a guy in the face. Yeah.
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 It's literally
We'll come full
it's the
circle.
joke.
Yeah.
It's the joke where it's like there's I don't remember it, like the meme people always put like a serious moment in a TV show or a movie or something, their ads, and then it cuts to the Whopper.
It's like,
Yeah. Well,
it's like
what about
the
it coming
cliffhanger
full
moment?
circle
Yeah.
with Tomb Raider selling Gatorade from the original ads, right? The next Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis will have Lara Croft with Gatorade ads.
I mean, like,
you know,
Yeah.
From a purely holistic, like stepping away as a gamer point of view, just looking at this as an industry, I can understand how ad supporting stuff. Because again, like we're in a rough time financially for a lot of these businesses in terms of like getting games made. Now a lot of that's fucking greed.
Yep.
But I can understand ads being maybe a part of that and helping offset some of those high costs of doing some of the stuff. But I can't see it going well. I can't see a situation where it's like, oh, everyone loved that. Everyone was great with that.
Like it's one of those things I always kind of have to remind myself, and I talk about, because when it's an interesting thing, I think, is a lot of the things we hate in our games, or just like a lot of the things we hate in a lot of things, are also the reason, like DLC, microtransactions, free to play games. The reason that game is free is because it has a shit ton of microtransactions in it.
Yeah.
The reason games stayed $60 for as long as they did is because they sold $70 deluxe editions and DLC. Like, the things we hate are also the reason we got free games, or the games didn't go up in price. Now obviously games are going up in price, and that sucks too. Like that the value proposition has changed a little bit. But like, yeah, everyone hates ads, but they're kind of what pay the bills for you to have the service you use.
Yeah.
Which is a tough pill to swallow, but it kind of is what it is. Don't love it, obviously. Like, that's not saying I'm for putting ad riddling absolutely everything, but like, kind of is what it is. That's just like the economics of the situation. Maybe companies could be less greedy, but who will think of the shareholders, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Look, honestly, the best experience I've had with an ad in a video game is actually when I played, I think it was a Spider-Man game, actually, or it was Prototype or something, right? But basically, there was a JB Hi-Fi ad on a screen in the game, and when I saw it for the first time, I'm like, what the fuck is this? How does this get in here? But it was actually immersively part of the world, because it was a real-time playing ad for a movie now available at JB Hi-Fi to buy on DVD. And I'm just like, wow, that is insane. And it didn't put me out. It was just in the open world, and it was a real world ad in the game as I was playing. So
I used to get a kick out of the ads they put in Guitar Hero 3, because they'd like put them on like signs and billboards, like, and like you'd see those at a concert.
Yeah.
You see a banner of Monster Energy at a concert. So I was like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah. And like Sunset Overdrive,
because
right? It's their own thing, right? So their weekly episodic stuff, they just turn that into ads in the game.
Because that's where I would see it. I didn't even realize I was being advertised to. Like, I'd play Guitar Hero, Guitar Hero.
It's like,
3,
yeah, there's Gibson all over that thing, right? Like, it's like,
Yeah, I'm like, well, not even Gibson. Like, you'd load in, and you'd be loading into your concert, your show, and it'd pan to like, there's like two little big flag banners on the side of your stage, and they say like fucking Monster Energy or
Axe Body Spray or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't really think about the fact that I was being advertised to, because I'm like, yeah, if you go to a concert, that's just what you see. You just see that. So it didn't take me experience at all. It was immersive advertising.
there was an
weirdly enough.
interesting discussion with the new guy who runs at EA, who runs that kind of advertising stuff that I was talking about before. And the idea that obviously the sports stuff makes the most sense because you see advertising in sports stadiums all the fucking time. And, like Mountain Dew had I think in the last college football game, Mountain Dew had their own team in that for some fucking reason, like because they paid for an activation. And so that kind of stuff, you see it and you're okay, yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, oh, it's like I see on the banners McDonald's or whatever, because like, of course, because McDonald's and Coca-Cola sponsor every sport and on demand, of course, I'm going to see their ads every time I go to a stadium and watch a game. The other interesting example they gave was Coach, Coach Bags. They did a promotion with The Sims where they were giving away basically the entire Coach line as Sims items that people could get for free. Which is kind of an interesting idea. But beyond that, it's like, okay, like seeing stuff in game that's actual advertising is relatively rare these days. We saw it a lot more in the 360 generation. I remember Rainbow Six Vegas had a shitload of the advertising because you were in Vegas, so you saw billboards, and I think every car was a Dodge, pretty much. Like everything was like a Dodge truck. And I'm trying to think of any other. There's a couple of Burnout Paradise. The billboards, they had the ability to tag them. Like I remember the Obama campaign was fucking doing stuff in the US, and so like the billboards he was smashing and driving through, they all had like Democratic Party, vote Obama, all that kind of stuff all over them because they realized they wanted to get the kids. But yeah, so like it's not unusual for this stuff to have like in placement advertising or like product placement within video games. It's not that strange, but I just I can't trust any corporation to not completely fuck the experience by just enshittifying it so much that it becomes because the thing is like the ads are only there because so you see them. So if they don't make them intrusive, then they're not doing their job. And like I said, as someone who does marketing, like there is a very fine line to balance between how often your ads show up, what are the ads saying, how much they interrupt. It's called disruption. The idea being that you break someone's kind of autopilot to make sure they see the ad. And even if they're not necessarily like, if you see an ad for a Kia, it's not, oh, I want to buy a Kia because I saw that ad. It's next time I need to buy a car, I remember that I saw this ad. So I'm going to Kia is the first thing. If I have a list of 3, Kia suddenly is at the top because I remember it. Anyway, we don't need to get into fucking ad theory and shit.
Yeah. I mean, to that point though, right? The ones that we remember are the ones that we were just talking about.
Exactly.
Like
That's exactly. And I couldn't tell. I can barely again. My internet browsing and like all this sort of stuff, I've like locked that shit down so much that I almost never see ads, and I also like don't leave the house. So it's so rare that I see an ad, and I'm always like, fuck, oh shit, yeah, advertising. So like for it to come into games, it's like very like it's like a lot for me to see that shit and be like, oh shit, that's actually like I forget what it's like out there where you don't have an ad blocker on everything, and you don't have all this shit stopping you from seeing ads on YouTube and all that sort of stuff.
Oh man, new avenue.
I've had
in-game ad blocking.
Yeah.
I mean, put an ad blocker at your network level and see what happens.
That'd
be
right?
Interesting. But I've had YouTube Premium for a while, which doesn't have ads for like when I play on my phone or my TV or something. And every now and again, my girlfriend will pull up a YouTube video on her phone, and they'll play an ad at the beginning. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot YouTube videos have ads.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can't. It's like I can't believe this is the experience. Like,
I'm like, oh god,
yeah,
ugh.
I've got YouTube Premium from the last time they gave me 4 ads in a row, and I'm just like, oh,
you can't. Yeah,
YouTube's the only platform that I actually watch. So
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, I also killed my Spotify and just switched fully to YouTube Music, so kind of like it just made sense. Like I'm gonna pay for a music streaming service because like the value is just too high.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you. I
was paying for Spotify and YouTube Music or YouTube Premium, and I was just like, why am I paying for Spotify? So I killed it, and now it makes sense. But
so ads an interesting one. I think overall it's probably going to go badly, but it's interesting to see what they're doing from a objective point of view.
Yeah, I think it's just further enshittification.
Yeah. And if anything's going to stop me playing video games, it's probably going to be ads. To be honest, that's the thing they'll break the camel's back because they don't put up with it just about anywhere else. Let's just quick last one here. The Call of Duty movie. There was some talk. There's been talk around it. Apparently, they've confirmed that it's going to be taking place in the Modern Warfare universe. So no Black Ops stuff yet. Although I'm sure they'll make a Numbers Mason reference in there somewhere. Famously, the director doesn't know anything about this franchise and doesn't care about it. So I'm sure this will be an amazing film. Set to come out in around this time next year, I think. So keep an eye out for that. Oh no, 2028. Sorry. So still a little while away. All right, Game Pass updates. Keo, do you want to run through those quickly?
I do. I just need a moment to load it up. Okay, cool. So we have joining. What is the date today? The 26th. So we've got a few that have popped out already. So July 22nd, Shift at Midnight has been added. 23rd, Hell Is Us has been added. I've been looking at that one, thinking about it.
It's really good. I like the game a lot. I bought it when it was on sale last time.
Yeah. Yep. Halo's kind of out for people who've paid for the updates, but that comes out on the 28th. On the 30th, we have Mistfall Hunter. 31st, Corsair Cove. August 4th, we've got 2. Beast of Reincarnation, which is the Pokemon thing. X,
it's made by Game Freak.
Game Freak 1. Yeah, Pokemon adjacent. And Heretic and Hexen, which was already in there, but is just added to
I think it's coming. It was on PC. I think it's coming to consoles now.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. Leaving, we have Back to the Dawn, Celeste, Crusader Kings 3, which has this Windows stack, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, My Friendly Neighborhood, Rain World, Sniper Elite Resistance. I need to do that one. And Whiskwood. So, yeah. Any of you guys after any of those, or?
No, I did My Friendly Neighborhood last time it was on the list. Sniper Elite Resistance, I was maybe, but I think I've played a lot of Sniper Elite.
that was a wait until the DLC goes on sale deal and then smash it through. But like you don't want to pay for that.
I had enough. So. I had to find enough time with 5. I don't really feel like I need another Sniper Elite experience this soon.
Crusader Kings 3 is one I've always been interested in, but I won't finish it before it leaves for sure. So I'll just put it on the wish list.
Yeah.
We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/HallofGamers. If you want to help support the show, a huge thank you to Old Mate Clown, Cavaliero7, Hack and Pone, Kung Fu Skills, Happy Moogles, Admiral Lawson, Tolanator, Lee Howard, Left Legacy, Venoms AU, and our brand new paying Patreon subscriber. Well, I've got his full name here. I don't know if I'll read it out, but if you want me to change it to something else in the future, let me know, buddy. William Johnson, huge thank you. He subscribed to the highest tier, which is hugely supportive. We really appreciate it. It's the first Patreon we've had in quite a while. So I do want to get back and do more Patreon content. So we do have a channel on our Discord called the Champs channel. If you're a Patreon member, you can jump in there and suggest ideas, or if you want us to do more streaming stuff. I know Shane is very keen for us to stream some game stuff. I don't do a lot of streaming these days. I actually don't think any of us kind of do too much of it these days. So
no, it's always in the back of your mind. But
so I mean, if there's a demand for it, we'd love to do it. We just want to make sure we're making stuff that you guys appreciate and actually want, rather than just kind of throwing episodes of things that you're not interested in on there. We also have,
except for Shane. Shane does lots.
Shane does lots of streaming. He does a lot. He carries that, so he'd love to do some more streaming for us as a whole. So we might do some team up stuff there if there's a demand for it. We also have the Bimestral Burden, the monthly theme. July and August with Gamer Hog Day, so playing games that require more than one playthrough to complete. Get on there. We've got a channel on the Discord for that as well. Talk about the games that you need to, anything that requires extra playthroughs, different endings, all that kind of stuff. Let us know what you're getting into. Speaking of what we
I gotta post one.
Yeah, definitely. Does Neptunia count for that? It does, right? Because you got to do.
I did. You have to do at least 2. I did 3.
Yeah, right.
Well,
let's get into what we've been playing. I'll start us off. As part of my backlog, I was playing a game called Swap Quest, which is something I'm working on. This was, I believe, like a Vita game. Like it was one of those little downloadable Vita games originally. Might have been a phone game as well. I'm not quite sure. But the idea is that you are you're a little prince or princess, and you're kind of going across the screen, and you have to sort of swap tiles to build a path to get across, while also building it into building the path to make sure you're attacking monsters to get levels up, as well as like opening chests. And you also have a cloud of darkness behind you. So it's like a scrolling kind of game where you're kind of building paths and trying to make sure you build the path fast enough so you don't, run into problems. There's also like, things changing the paths in front of you or creating blockers, or, you have to hit this thing, then this thing. It's a fun little distraction. It's been on my backlog list for ages. I remember like looking at it and being like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. And then starting up and being like, okay, this is not at all what I expected. But yeah, so I finished my first playthrough. I beat the final boss for that, and now I have to go around and collect all this sort of, there's each level has like a hidden collectible that you need to get to beat the real boss. So I've done some of the hidden stuff. I'll try and finish it today. It's been a nice little distraction, but like there's not really any story, or the game's like 8 levels long and that sort of stuff. So there's not really, it's like 12 levels long with some challenges and a few like extra mini bosses and stuff. So there's not a huge amount to it. I think it's got like a 3 out of 10 in difficulty, I think most places are saying. So I'm just kind of breezing through it. It's just been on the backlog for a long time. Kia, what you got one?
Yeah, I've got one that takes multiple playthroughs to finish, and that would be I've now committed to Lost Planet 2 with Kiku. So.
Oh Jesus! What is wrong with you? Lost Planet 2?
Monday nights, dude. I'm not doing the version I'd started before that was the Games for Windows version, but yes.
Christ. Okay.
Yes. So every Monday, Kiku and I are gonna jump on and do a bit of none of those difficulties stack, and then you've got to do like 15 weeks basically of playing 3 different match types with 3 different factions with a bunch. You have to do that with every faction. There's 5 factions. You have to win the weekly faction basically once a week for 3 weeks, and then 5 times.
Because there's the leaderboard achievements in it as well. Right?
It is, yeah. It has the leaderboard stuff, but
what are I've always been
the monsters are cool,
what those are. What are the leaderboard achievements?
Well, it was
yeah.
I've got the list right here, so let's go online only.
Like Lost Planet 1 was enough, and that doesn't even have leaderboard achievements. That's just brutally difficult.
Yeah, so I mean, the stuff that we're looking at here for the 10 multiplayer achievements, you're looking at 500 online matches, 100 online matches, 100 ranked, and then 500 online, so normal matches, 1,000 kills, 93 areas without the help of another player, gunner rank, fight for a number of different factions in the faction match, which is the thing I was talking about. And so basically, like, the leaderboard stuff is something that I think you have to do that's not even on the online stuff by the looks of it. So I wonder if it's just all... Yeah, I have to find the leaderboard one then. Partly, where is it?
Yeah, it's definitely some bullshit.
I'd have to go through the list. I mean, there's the achievement for getting all medals of all type stuff, and it's probably part of that.
Yeah,
right. So so it's not probably an achievement on its own. It's a complete all 2x amount of years basically. So
yeah, those are the games that I want to play because they look fun. Lost Planet 1, 2, 3. I know 3's not that bad achievement wise.
Let's do 3. Jump on 3. Play with me because I need to do the online.
Yeah, let's go.
Just, what I was just gonna say is, those are 3 games I do not own on Xbox because I haven't. I have 1 and 3 on PC, which I plan to play there, and 2 technically isn't on PC because of the weird games for Windows Live bullshit.
Yeah,
but there's a way to you can kind of get it in a weird way, and I might try to do that, or I'm just gonna play it on PS3. Because I just want to play through the story casually with spec'd out settings and then move on from my life because those games are brutal.
Yeah. And
so honestly, the monsters, like the big boss battles at the end of each chapter, is really cool. So
yeah, I played Lost Planet 1 back in the day on the 360, and I remember thinking game was sick as hell.
Yeah, it's a cool game, but it's also quite difficult.
Brutally difficult.
Shane just dived it last week. So,
oh my god, nice. You guys are all. Why do you guys hate yourselves?
That's again. I wish I played both versions of it. I wish I played neither of them, to be honest. But Yeah, the colonies
guys
edition
are
is brutal.
absolutely insane. There's so many better things to do with your time. Good lord.
uh,
No, it's not that I hate myself; it's that I hate time.
yeah, that's true.
So
yeah,
sure,
it's
sure.
true.
if time didn't
God-
exist,
Godspeed. Godspeed. I wish you the best. I can't wait for you to tell us when you finished it. But good lord.
So you
Good luck
just
to
doing the
all of you.
multiplayer, Kia?
well, we're working on the campaign and then popping in and doing faction match to kind of top it off. There was like 0 players last week,
Yeah,
so
right.
hopefully tomorrow it'll just be like instant faction win, and we don't have to grind 2 or 3 matches to get ahead. So we'll see. Because if we have to jump in and grind out a few matches to make sure that the faction's ahead every week, we need to prioritize that first.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure. That's
but
the important part.
outside of that, just going through the campaign difficulties, we're about halfway through. I think the first, it's like chapter 3 of like 6 or 7 or something. So yeah, they seem to be getting longer though. But it's like into little parts. So there's acts and chapters and yeah, episodes and yeah. So yeah. All right, Jake.
Yeah, I think since last time I've been on, because I spent most of the month playing Hyperdimension Neptunia, or Neptunia Reverse is the version I played, which is the remake of the remake.
Okay, you need to explain the
'cause it
game
was-
because most people aren't nearly weeby enough to know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll get there. So I'm playing a remake of a remake of a remake of a remake. Hyperdimension Neptunia was released on the PS3, then released on the PS Vita as Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1, which was then ported to the PS4 as Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 as well, and then later ported to the PS5 in 2021 as Neptunia Rebirth. And things did change between each of the releases, weirdly enough. The most drastic one between the PS3 and the Vita version, they overhauled basically a lot of the, like, it was still like the dungeon areas were the same, but like they removed, there used to be a hub world that you walked around on the PS3 one to go to your area, and they just completely axed that for a new age JRPG style. All the dialogue is like 2 PNGs talking to each other, and you just select where you want to click on a map.
Persona 3 Portable
basically.
versus Persona 3.
Yes,
FES,
bingo.
yeah.
Now, yeah, what the fuck is Neptunia Rebirth or Hyperdimension Neptunia? It is one of the weebiest, most anime games I've ever played. I've been telling people all week now that I finished it, because I've been sharing my completion. I did, when I shared the completion in the Hog Discord, all I said was what I just said. I just said total anime bullshit or something.
Yeah.
Because it's all it is. It's total anime bullshit. I've been telling people all week that it is not a game I think I would recommend to anybody. That doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the game.
Sure.
I thought it was a quite good game, and I had a lot of fun with it. It scratched an incredibly specific itch. But if you asked me, should you play Hyperdimension Neptunia? I cannot answer that question for you, because it is you probably need a very specific taste in Japanese culture, cultural media experiences
Sure.
to want to play that game. It's a JRPG in the like truest sense. Like I was talking to my girlfriend about it, because she's like, so what is this game? I'm like, so this is what like most JRPGs
Is that
are.
the way it was, or was it? Did they wear clothes, or was she like, "What is this?
What is this? Yeah, the tone is important. What the fuck is this? Is also different too.
Oh no!
Yeah.
She was genuinely curious at first. She even went through my character roster and picked her favorite waifus out.
Nice.
Because it is a one of those waifu games. But the way I explained it to her was, this is a JRPG that is like, these are what is genuinely quite popular in Japan. These did not have mass appeal in the West.
Yeah.
This is what you're gonna find most JRPGs are. Like, a lot of the shit we don't even get is incredibly similar to this kind of gameplay loop. I've kind of described it as sort of the gameplay style is kind of like a Tales game, where it's like you have like an arena, or think like Ni no Kuni, if people have
Mhm.
played that too, where it's like an arena that you get to freely move around in, and then you have to line up your attacks and fight. And so the gameplay loop's not super. It's pretty basic, pretty easy to wrap your head around. But I like to describe it as kind of a weird number go up game. Which, if you don't know what a number go up game, it's like, you know, your cookie clickers, your adventure capitalists, you click the thing, and then you can buy the thing that clicks it for you, and then you can buy the thing that makes the thing that clicks it for you 5 times faster, and then all of a sudden you have a gajillion cookies.
Incremental.
Yeah. Incremental game, number grow up game. I've been explaining it like that because it is truly a game where the gameplay loop is very repetitive. There's really just not a lot to offer there, but the loop is satisfying because you are kind of constantly and noticeably pushing. Like, it's not little jumps in like power and like micro optimizations and min maxing. It is you start the game dealing in hundreds and tens, like you get tens of XP and you have hundreds of health, and you end the game with hundreds of thousands of health, getting millions of XP, and doing millions of damage. So in the loop is satisfying in the fact that you kind of unlock recipes to get better weapons and gear, and so you have to go kill the things that give you the drops, and this farming is pretty painless, which is what makes it, I think, partly that like loop that hooks you in. Like the farming isn't too bad. It's a lot of farming, but it's like, go get 3 of this item, and it's not like this is a 1% drop table and you're gonna be here for an hour farming the thing. It's like you're gonna maybe do the encounter 5 times and you'll have what you need, and then you fast travel out of the dungeon and you go finish your recipe, and then you go buy the thing, and that has moved you up in the number go up system, where now you can do enough damage to kill the next thing that gets the next recipe you want. And that's kind of how the gameplay honestly really boils down to, and how it feels, because the story, there's not a ton to write home about. It was pretty, I think towards the end I was kind of skipping through some stuff. It truly was just like anime degenerate bullshit. Like, to a point where some of it got kind of annoying at parts. The story is it's an incredibly meta story. You play as the 4 CPU goddesses of game industry. All the goddesses are personified versions of the consoles. So the Wii, the Xbox, and the PS3 is when this came out. So that's what they're supposed to personify. There's, you know, talk of the console war, and so it's very meta, and it's also very fourth wall breaky. They're constantly breaking the fourth wall. They're constantly making video game references, niche anime references too. They're making, or like niche anime culture references. Like one of the enemies is, it's like there's one of the enemies is called like super otaku or something like that. Like and there's a couple enemies that are literally just like it's just a flat PNG of like a dating sim.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's super meta, super weird, super anime. And the trophy list isn't too terrible. You can kind of skip through. Like, the first playthrough probably took me was the longest, because I was actually like kind of trying to take the story in a little bit. But you can speed up combat a lot, not in the sense that like you can double speed it, but in the sense that like you can just hold the L1 button and it just like skips all the animations.
Right.
So you just sit there and just like attack, move, attack, and the battles kind of start to breeze through that way. It's technically requires 2 playthroughs, but I was kind of having fun with it, so I was unlocking a lot of like the extra cosmetics and shit. And that required me to actually do 3 playthroughs, because there's like a finite amount of resources that you need to unlock all the things you need to unlock all the trophies. So I did it in 3, but the second and third playthroughs, like, I think I got to the end of the game where I wanted to start grinding things out in like 2 hours each time.
Right. Okay.
Like,
This is
if
New
you
Game
just
Plus,
skip
or...
every... Yeah, New Game Plus.
Yeah.
And New Game Plus or whatever. But like, not New Game Plus in the sense that anything gets harder. It
Sure.
literally just restarts the game wherein you have everything you had before. So just skipping all the cutscenes and one-hitting everything, I got to the last chapter, last like story beat in like 2 hours, and then I just grinded out what I needed to. So yeah, that's what I was up to. Like I said, super anime weeb bullshit. Would not recommend to just anybody. Like I would have to know like you're also into this kind of niche, obscure anime bullshit to recommend this game to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're ticking a lot of my boxes there, so it does sound like the kind of thing that I don't know if I would enjoy, but I probably would play.
Okay, perfect. So you should go ahead. Actually, I don't think there's any Xbox.
Don't think it's ever come to
Neptunia
Xbox,
games.
unfortunately. Yeah.
I don't think there are any. But yeah, I liked it. I had a good time. I do plan to play the others, I think. And then right after that game, I jumped into Infamous 2's servers are going offline.
Oh.
At the end of
Oh, what?
August. So it's only the only online stuff they had was user generated content.
Mm-hmm.
So just like levels.
Yeah.
And you have to make one. You have to play 5 under the new tab, and then you have to play 25. And I booted the game up. I had a save from back in like 15, where I already unlocked all that stuff. It takes like an hour to get to the point where you unlock it, but I'd already unlocked all that stuff, and so I just said, "Oh, great! I'll just do that quick." And then I was just like, "While I'm here, I might as well,
Yeah.
like just finish it off." So I've been playing Infamous 2. And that's been fun. That's been a
Nice.
It's a
good
cool
time.
game.
It's making me kind of.
Yeah.
It is cool. It's making me miss those like mid 2000s superhero open world games, and it's also making me realize like where we truly went wrong with open world, where we focused on size,
Yes. Rather than
and not
density.
filling the world.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
not a huge open world, and it doesn't. I never noticed the open world. I'm just like doing things all the time.
Yep.
So. Like I don't.
Yeah,
The
did
game
you
doesn't
get
have a fast travel,
Yeah.
and it doesn't need it, because you're just like navigate. You're just running through the city quickly, and it's like nothing. It never takes too long to get anywhere.
Mm.
Yeah. Have you got the DLC for that? Then it's like Blood Carnival or something like that. That they wasn't that
Festival
the
of Blood, I
Infamous 2?
think?
Festival
No,
of Blood.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna-
that's the one.
I'm gonna buy that as well because that's also going down. Yeah.
Yeah. I finished that ages ago, like years and years ago. Great games. So
And that's what I've been up to.
Nice.
You guys been up to anything else?
Yeah, I got a couple things. So another backlog. So I've been trying to start a couple of backlog games so I can jump between them. The other backlog game that I started this week was Hitman Blood Money HD, which I was like, oh yeah, I remember playing this. That was like 10 years ago, right? And I went back and looked on TA. No, I was closer to 20. So I played this in like 2007, 2008. So it was one of the earlier games I played on the 360. And so going back to it now, I'm amazed at how much of I remember this game, which is the sign of a great game. I was like, oh, I think this level's this and this level's this. There was only like 1 or 2 levels where I was like, oh, I don't really remember this that well. Actually, I think it might have been like just 1 level. I was like, oh, this level's so simple that I barely remember it. But it's great. It's still a fantastic game. You do have to finish the game on professional difficulty, which is a bit of a drag. But there's a really good walkthrough on TA that'll get you through every mission with almost no problems. The game is still very janky. Like it is from that era of like when they were bringing PC games to 360 and there's like Hitman. Like before Hitman kind of had the ability to have guardrails with like Word of Assassination and a little bit of like Absolution. And like I played Absolution as part of the backlog a few months ago and like I really enjoyed that because it's a bit more contemporary. This is very much okay, cool, yeah, like no vision cones really, no instinct, no, like there's very much like, okay, cool. Yeah, even on professional mode, it's like, yeah, we'll show you where your targets are, but we won't show you where anywhere else is on the map. There's not really a lot of like it does work like a clockwork system like all the other Hitmans do, but it's much more obscured. You kind of have to play the missions a lot to kind of learn where things are, and a lot less hand holding than what you'd get in say like the more modern games. And you could definitely feel the age in some of the shooting stuff, and I mean the games were never like great third person shooters, but it controls a little stiffly. The kind of like how you pick things up and drop things and like use items is always a bit weird. They've definitely sanded off the edges, but the base ideas of the levels are still really, really fun. Like I still love the vineyard in the very first, like the first proper mission where you're, trying to assassinate the guy playing the cello, and there's the one where it's like it's the classic one where it's like the house on a lane. There's FBI agents everywhere because the guy's in like witness protection, so you need like assassinate him and like knock out his wife and steal hers, like the microfilm that she's got, and like you could do the mission in like 5 minutes and you could just like go and kill everyone. It really was that like amazing sandbox, and I'm really excited to see. I know that I think was it oh god, who is it? Someone is redoing the original Hitman games. And I'm really excited to see kind of what like quality of life stuff they might change in those to make them a bit more playable. Because as you go back, they are harder and harder to play. Like Contracts is quite like, but yeah, really, really enjoying it. I've got like a couple of like I finished my professional playthrough. I'm doing like the cleanup of like becoming super infamous and getting 47 kills on a level and all that kind of stuff. So I'll try and clean that up probably this weekend. But it's been cool to go back to. And that kind of brings my backlog down to 40 games so far. I might add a few, might take a few out. We'll see how it goes. But roughly there's a list of 40 that I'm looking at doing next. I've been challenged to do Bulletstorm and Blob. So I'm probably going to do those two next. But we'll see how those go. And then
all right, let me know how you go with people for Bulletstorm.
Yes, yeah.
So
yeah, I do. I know they've made the online for it's the Xbox One version, so like the full whatever.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I know they've made the grind a little bit easier, but there is definitely some online stuff to do there for sure. And then the last thing is the same thing I was playing last week was hang on, let me pull up the exact name of this because it's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished it this afternoon. It was Master Detective Archives : Rain Code Plus. So this is a weeb game for weebs. It is. I talked about a bit about this last week, but it is from the same people who did Danganronpa and Zero Escape. It's been published by Spike Chunsoft. It's great. Essentially, you arrive at a city. You're a detective. You've lost your memories, but you've also made a pact with a demon. She calls herself Shinigami, which just means death god. So it's kind of weird for a name. But anyway, the whole idea is that you go. It's the classic Danganronpa thing of like you spend some time doing exploration and getting clues, and then you do, instead of doing a court case, you go into a labyrinth where you need to solve the mysteries to progress. And then there's like a big thing, a reveal at the end, and who the killer is and all that sort of stuff. It took me like it's
going into a labyrinth that's weird game for a weeb for sure. There's so many like very Japanese games where the whole like shtick is like, and now you're in a labyrinth.
Yes, it is. It's so strange, and the labyrinth is weird, and obviously it's a mystery labyrinth. And again, the less I say about the game, the kind of better, because obviously the reveals are quite interesting. But the whole thing is that like you're part of a detective agency, and every detective has their own abilities, and so each case you team up with a different detective to use their abilities to solve the mysteries. And so it's kind of fun learning about that detective at the same time, and also learning how their ability works and how you can use it to solve the case. It's very, again, if you play Danganronpa, it's a lot of like, okay, I'm going to say a dramatic thing. Okay, I'm going to say a dramatic thing. Okay, I'm going to say a dramatic thing. We're going to go back and forth. We're going to talk about what the truth means. We're going to get very philosophical for a couple of seconds. Now we're going to make a joke about boobs. Now we're going to make a joke about, it's like, now I'm going to throw in a joke. And I'm going to throw a Dragon Quest joke because you've gotten to a path in the labyrinth, and it goes, hey, what spell do I need to get out of here? And it comes up with either like evacuate or zoom. It's so referential. It's kind of insane. So the more games you play, I'm sure you'll enjoy it more.
So we played the same game basically.
Very similar kind of thing. But the thing is like
yeah.
But in terms of combat,
yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so like but again, like there's not so much combat. There isn't really like there is a very light leveling system, and there's like a light grading system. Again, very much in that same vein of Danganronpa. Like if you played Danganronpa, this is the same sort of thing, but instead of shooting things with a gun, you're hitting things with a sword in terms of like solving the mysteries of like it does that thing where it's like, oh yes, all the statements are like flying at you, and so you need to find the contradiction, but you can't just click on the contradiction. You need to shoot it, or you need to hit it with a sword, or you need to dodge the other statements that aren't the ones that you want to try and fight. So like there's some weird action JRPG kind of like, but like very, very light. But I really, really enjoyed it. I think that my only real problem with it is that it kind of gets quite samey in terms of the mechanics. I love the mysteries. Like Allison was like, "Don't you fucking play this without me," because like solving the mysteries is really great. That fucking like aha moment when you figure it out, like it's really really cool. And just like because I figured like when you figure something out before they tell you, you feel like a fucking genius. Yeah, it's really really good. It just the problem is, and I feel like this made on a little bit of a budget where it's like, okay, cool. There are things that happen during the labyrinth parts, which are like, okay, cool. There's this sequence, and then this sequence, and this sequence. It's like, okay, it's always the same sequence. It's like, yeah, sometimes the mystery changes, but the mechanics are very like the mechanics don't evolve like at all throughout the entire game, which is kind of the only problem I had with it. But it was finally on sale. Like I picked it up last week and have been playing through it for the last week or so, and it's great. Yeah, if you like Danganronpa, this is a must play. If you like the Zero Escape stuff, maybe less so because there's not really like escape room stuff. But yeah, if you like mysteries, it's definitely a big recommend. And I also finished Alkine's Gun or whatever. I got the last couple of tunes for that, and it's still trash. If you check out the completions channel, Aftos was talking about it. He's like, "Oh, hey, I just picked this up. How is it?" And I told him it was terrible. It's he described it as a very poor man's Hitman, which I agree. Kia, what about you? You got anything else?
Yeah, I've got a few left on the list. I started playing a very, very, very delisted game called Turok Escape from Lost Valley.
Jeez, okay.
It was around a little while ago. But it's like one of those things where you're booted up and it has like the Universal Studios logo, but it's not connected to any of the Turok games or anything like that. It's actually more based on the 1956 like comics.
Oh,
like
shit! Okay,
the old comics that used to be around. And like because like you've got you and you've got a side character called Ander, which was in the comics. And it's like an isometric perspective based on tiles, and you can freely walk around and you have your moves and stuff like that, like fire a bow or slash at the enemy or whatever, but the enemies distinctly like run on the grid. So if you get a boss like the T-Rex, it'll do like 3 steps this way, turn 3 steps that way, and then like charge, but it'll all be grid based.
Yeah, right.
So you'll have a few. It'll still have dinosaurs, all that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting because it's not a super easy game either. So it's kind of like, well, I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. I don't think that matters for much because you don't have many enemy encounters, but the encounters are very, very specific. And there was like one I got stuck on, which was like a river rafting kind of area where there was like, you get attacked by a bunch of like natives of a tribe or something like that, and you had to go through that whole area and then defeat a boss on the water, which was like a sea serpent snake, to pass that level. So it is pretty forgiving because you just end up it just puts you back to the camp where your camp is, and you can go in and change your armor and stuff, but it's like really limited. There's only like a couple of weapons, couple pieces of armor, so it's really just about the map and the gameplay and the puzzles with the boss in each level, and that's kind of it. But it had a kind of a weird cutesy art style to it, so it's kind of endearing for its time, but it's definitely a really interesting one, but you can't get it now. But it's one that I wanted to play just because, you know, the connections to Turok and the past of Turok and stuff like that. So
yeah,
started working through that. But yeah, just as a fun little isometric platform puzzle, well, not puzzle slash hack and slash kind of thing. But yeah. Also, I started doing Flat Out 4, which is it's Flat Out 4 Total Insanity, and it's connected to the, like, it's done by the same guys that did Wreckfest and stuff like that, and they've got their older games. Basically, there's a glitch in this game where you have to have a disc to actually have it work for a specific achievement where you had to buy all the cars. But at one point, there was a update for it that made a specific car free or something. So if you had the title update, you bought the car when it was free from the update or something, and it was called the Gremlin. And it basically didn't count that car as actually purchased because it was claimed. So you have to play on disc and then uninstall the game, load the game up, well, install the game again, load the game up, buy the car based on the original offline version of the game, and then you can basically install the update. And because you purchased it in the offline mode, you can continue on. You get your timestamps for the Xbox achievements, all that kind of stuff.
Because you can buy the rest of the cars. Right.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I kind of it is a trash game in the sense that like it's got the classic arcade racing style where it's like you've got a bunch of races, then you got your flat out mode, and then which is like challenges, and then you got like a reckless kind of mode where you just like launch yourself out of a car and take out pillars and earn points and stuff like that for it. Forget what it's called, but the game's so unforgiving at the start. If you have no upgrades for the cars, you just get thrown around the map willy-nilly, and so you have to like earn some cash, get some upgrades, or the cars are just unplayable, completely unplayable. So
not very well
yeah. So no, but it's not balanced specifically for it's they knew what they were doing making the cars like that to push it gradual progress, right? So yeah. But other than that, I mean, it's just fun playing through an old game that's just like do this race, then this race, then this race, do this championship, and you don't have to worry about. And it's challenging in the sense that because it is trash, you have to get through that stuff. You don't have rewind features, all those modern things that we're used to. So
no quality of life.
But yeah, that's a bit of a work in progress. I'm at the point where I've got enough money to buy the car, but I have to go through the flat out mode to unlock the car at like challenge 28 or something, and then I can go offline, buy the car, and then yeah, be done with that. But the only other thing probably worth mentioning is last night I went through with the boys and we finished the story in Halo Infinite finally. So
yeah, I've been really curious around your kind of run through of that because it's been on my like maybe to playlist forever.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of missions, the whole game is just disjointed. The open world, I think I said last time, it's not worth the open world time, but then you have to do stuff in the open world to unlock the next actual mission to go into levels to do it. But when you get into the actual levels and when you see the actual cutscenes they make and stuff like that, it's all really nice. Like they definitely have been doing some of the right stuff within the game's systems, but to making Master Chief look like Master Chief and do Master Chief things in that regard. But I think the game's ending kind of suffers a little bit in the sense that it was left open for, continuing the story of Halo Infinite as like adding on to the game, which immediately makes me remember like Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness, right? So it's where it was supposed to be a trilogy, but they never finished it, so they'll never go back to the story, and they'll never finish that story. And it feels like unless they directly address what is at the end of this story, then they're probably going to forget about it and then retcon and move on.
I mean, that's kind of what they did with 5, right, to this, right? They kind of skip ahead, and because 5 ends on a big fucking cliffhanger.
Yeah, but I feel like Halo just keeps falling victim to that though, right? So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's fine. We could have kept going longer, but somebody had to go eat some food and decided that, the end of the story was a stopping point. So we're like, okay, we'll just finish it up. We won't go do our cleanup. So we'll do a cleanup next week. And then we'll start looking at Lasso and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But that's about it for the different stuff that I've been doing. So, yeah. That'll be it. That'll do.
Great. I got some late breaking news here.
Oh, let's go.
Again, not super late breaking, but apparently PlayStation has just, again, this is one of those PlayStation things, but PlayStation has shown off a new controller on their patent, a patent controller that apparently has no physical buttons. So there's some rumors that maybe, because they're looking to move into maybe some of this mobile, there's the rumor that they're doing a handheld. Maybe there's something there on touchscreens, or apparently has no physical buttons.
Okay. All right. So all digital buttons, huh?
Yeah, all digital buttons, all digital console, all digital future. No digital games. Just,
Ew.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I just saw that pop up on a website that I was checking out there. So
yeah. Nice.
Anything else there, Kia?
That's it for me. I'm good.
Easy. All right. We also have the word challenge, everyone's favorite competition where Kirby gives away clues and you win money if you guess what the game is that he's talking about. And so we finally had the correct guess for the last one from a mad lefty who managed to get it. It was Elder Scrolls Online. The clues were bigger than Barbados because it has people played on TA is larger than the population of Barbados. The Japanese king is the most difficult challenge, which is obviously Emperor. You can just hang around outside in the sun all day, tossing a ball around, or you can sit on your Xbox and do something that matters, which is a reference to the World of Warcraft episode of South Park. And
so an online game.
Yep, an online MMO. And it's a tween, which is relating to how old the game is, which I believe is like 11 or 12 years old now.
Yeah, something like that.
So congratulations to Lefty. He won his $40. And so we're bringing up a new one. He's got a new clue. I have no idea what the game is. Kirby says I'm allowed to guess on this one because it's been long enough since I've won. So he's got our first clue here.
He just wants to treat you.
To be fair, I did guess the last one pretty early, but I didn't want to ruin it for everyone.
Yeah.
Also, I want to just go on record quick as somebody who's done Emperor and a lot of other things in ESO. I don't think the Japanese king is the most difficult challenge.
That's fair. I also when I figured out what the clue meant, I knew you were going to have something to say about it.
Yeah.
No, Emperor is not. Admittedly, it's about to get way more difficult with update 51, I think, or it already did get way more difficult, but. Yeah, when I did it, there were harder things.
And so, yes, we got a new clue for a new game. And Kirby also wants to let you guys know that there's a new prize. It's $30 blanket for the first 3 weeks, no matter whether you get a clue 1, 2, or 3, because we feel like we were having a low amount on the first clue meant not a lot of people were guessing. So if you get it within the first 3 weeks, you win $30, and then it jackpots up from clue 4. Depending on but the clues get easier and easier, so it's more likely someone will get it. So the new clue for the new game is early offerings from a boxing division. Oh, actually, I think I might know what it is. Wow, I haven't.
There we go. I saw that brain work. Yeah, okay. I'm like, wait, did his screen freeze?
No,
but it was just him thinking for a moment, and it was just yeah.
So yeah, early offerings from a boxing division. It's also on the bot, so we can chuck it in there. But if you're listening live, you'll get a bit of a head start because you'll get to hear about it before the other people do. So get your guesses in. You can win up to $30 to start with, and even more if it takes longer. So best of luck to you. Leaderboards. Kyo, do you want to do those?
I do. I will just be a moment because I didn't click on the link. Let's go. All right, leaderboards. So in third place, we have Thrash Forever at 17,525. He's been playing Sky Feathers. Grey Shark at number 2, 45,675. Been playing Little League of World of Series of Baseball 2002.
Jesus.
And Martel 18 is at 50,380 playing Ninja Escape Danger. So nice.
Jake, do you want to jump into those completions there?
Yes, I do. I already have them up. Even I'm ready.
Nice.
We got Regenstein. Finishing split second. I've always wanted to play that one. And TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Mike ADV finished Dead Island 2 and Overcooked 2. Thrash Forever finished Power Wash 2 and Pocket Mini Golf 2. Stubadoo finished Destroy All Humans, Clone Carnage. Shane or Firehawk D finished My Friendly Neighborhood and Metal Gear 1 and 2. Love to see that. Give those games a remake. I've probably said that at least 10 times on this show. Shadowed Sly finished Abiotic Factor. LFD, L4D Pills here finished Dead Island Riptide. Then Talinator finished Crazy Taxi and The Maw, and Dreg Frame finished Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Well done to all.
Yeah, nice work. Yeah, the Metal Gear 1 and 2 is apparently on the free play days at the moment, so that's why Shane jumped on those, and I might actually give those a go this weekend as well.
Do too.
Yeah, nice.
All right. Well, that's pretty much going to bring us to the end of the show. As always, you can catch us on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us, or our Patreon, patreon.com/Hall of Gamers. If you want to help support us, we greatly appreciate all the watchers and listeners at home. Anything else going on? You guys want to shout out? Keo, you got anything you want to shill?
Just find me Keo Live at home because I've got my name and gamer tag back. I had that's actually a funny little story there with I had a little bit of a thing with Microsoft support, and I'm like, oh well, I want to get at little like AT where it was Keo Live at home, but I went through a thing where they said yeah you can change it, and I changed it out to X home, and then tried to change it back after they insisted that I could, and you really couldn't because of the limitation on the name size. So now that Xbox has finally allowed 15 characters back in their game tags to allow for other flexibility in naming, I got the @ back. Before Kiku could take it, by the way, because that was probably going to happen. And yeah, so Keel Live at Home is everywhere again now, which is really nice. So yeah.
Nice.
That's it.
Jake, anything you want to shill?
Yeah, last time I was on, I said I was going to start shouting out just like random things I feel like shouting out. Shout out Magic the Gathering. Fucking sick game.
Bacon.
Love that game. Go play Magic the Gathering.
Take a shower first and then go and play it. Yeah, would be just my advice.
Yeah.
Because
yes.
Yeah.
Hygiene's important. Magic the Gathering doesn't make you immune to hygiene. You still need to do that.
If anything, the more Magic you play, the more you should be showering. Actually.
Yeah, probably.
No, Magic's great. And I'm Neomaster on everything True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. I've got some nice messages from people recently, so always happy to chat with people. But the Discord is the best place to find us, so come say hi. That's been episode 122. A huge thank you to my wonderful co-hosts, even the ones that can't be here. Char for doing our thumbnails, our patrons for keeping us funded, and you watchers and listeners at home. Catch the VOD on YouTube. We'll catch you guys next week. See you later.
Peace.